kill it with you in time. You know it when
All right, welcome to the Stateside Podcast. My name is James Macmillan. My co-host, sorry, not my co-host, our co-host.
I like to think of myself as your co-host.
I like to too.
It turns me on.
It makes me feel
It
very
really does.
like I own people.
Yep.
Neil Engel, what's up, Neil?
What up? I'm feeling
And
good today.
our shut up, trusted producer Andrew Carrion. What's up, Drew? Brat. Today we have a special guest,
Pew, pew, pew.
Logan Lynn.
Hi.
Hello, Logan.
Hi.
Thanks for being on.
Thanks for having me.
We do appreciate it.
Great. I love being appreciated.
We got apple pie today.
We got apple pie. I'm stuffing my face while talking to the microphone.
Yep.
So
Probably
hot.
not the best idea.
Thank you. Shout out to Mr. Mutiny for bringing us a entirely giant apple pie.
You can call him by his real name, you know.
That's his artist name.
His birth name is Mr. Mutiny.
He got
That's like
the pie.
that's like a superhero villain.
John Whitf. That's his name.
Let's stick with Mr. Mutiny.
But yeah,
That's
okay.
John Whiff.
All right. Well,
It's like the dumb version of John Wick.
next
John
time,
Whiff.
next
John
time,
Wick
trust
is
me
the
when
dumb
I,
version of
announce
John
it.
Wick.
I like the way you roll, Logan.
Thanks. Just tell the truth.
Smooth. Logan is a local musician and philanthropist. Is that the right word? Philanthropist?
Philanthropist.
Philanthropist.
Yeah, I like it like that. You call it local, though, okay?
What does local even
kidding.
mean, James?
Local,
where are
as
we?
in Portland, Oregon.
Okay, yeah, I actually like
There
that.
you go.
Okay.
Logan is a talented singer-songwriter, musician. If you don't know, you're missing out. Go check it out. When did you start doing music?
1998,
Oh my God,
I
that's
put
not
out
what I
my
thought you'd
first mixtape.
Really?
And then my first record came out in 2000.
Under Logan Lynn?
Mm-hmm.
So it's always been you, not a
It
band.
has, and if I had one thing to do over, I would probably change that. I would pick a name that was a stage name that's not the name
Really?
of my driver's license.
Right.
Because when things get weird,
Well, you didn't know.
it gets weird on my driver's license too, right? Like, I would
Right.
much rather have there be a separation, but it's far too late. That
Yeah.
ship has sailed.
Yeah, you can't pull that shit now.
No, I've tried
You
to
can't-
destroy this thing several times
Yeah.
in several different ways, and it's just here, so I'm trying to make the best of it.
You know what you could do? You could do the Chris Gaines move. The Garth
Is
Brooks,
that-
Chris Gaines.
Yeah,
you know what I'm
no,
talking
I don't
about?
know that that's officially a move. I do know what you're talking about.
Dude, that shit was outrageous.
It was. I prefer. Oh my God! Do you
Hey,
hear
Neil,
God?
is there elephants up above us?
No, I'm pretty sure somebody's dying upstairs.
Jesus, is that you, girl?
Hello.
Anyway, Chris Gaines, barf.
Chris Gaines, yeah. Wild shit.
Weird. Just like, why are you weirder than you already
Here's
are?
what I have to
barf?
say about that. How dare he?
I mean,
you know?
also, what was it? Just like he wanted different hair?
I don't know. Dude, Chris... Yeah, what the fuck?
He probably just wanted to make a
Look at
disconnect from his
those
driver's
pictures.
license.
Okay, now we're looking at pictures of Chris Gaines or Lisa
my
Rinna.
God.
I can't tell
Oh
the
my...
difference.
It's
Can you zoom
super-
in closer?
The Real
at the chin hair.
Housewives of Nashville.
I
Dude.
just love the little goatee thing or whatever that is. What do you
Yeah.
call it? Soul patch?
Little
Is that
soul
what it is?
patch.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Chris Gaines patch.
To be fair, Garth Brooks had it too at one point.
It's the same motherfucking person.
Oh yeah, I forgot. See, he already convinced me.
Quit buying into the Chris Gaines nonsense.
So yeah, clearly that's not an option for you, Logan.
I mean,
You are
I
Logan.
still
It's-
don't know that we've landed on what that is, but I'm thinking
It's a Miley Cyrus.
We'll
is
never
what it
know.
No,
is.
I would do a Miley Cyrus situation.
Okay. Okay.
And have.
What's the Miley Cyrus situation?
I'm not sure.
Just going from complete dark side, for lack of
Oh.
a better term,
Well,
and then trying to go back to the
Logan's
Disney
kind
aspect.
of changed identities many times.
I'm saying
musically.
I do that.
Yeah.
I do
Yeah.
that. And I actually
Absolutely.
used Miley Cyrus to do that at one point by
Really?
covering her We Can't Stop. We did an arrangement
right.
that she actually
Which
released.
Gino helped you with, right?
Yeah, Gino
That's
helped
right.
with that. He actually wrote all the music for that.
Yep.
And then she performed our version on Saturday Night Live and
No
the Today
way.
Show.
No way.
And all kinds of places.
That's amazing.
I know. Hi, Miley.
That's so cool.
When
Yeah,
is she
my
going to be on the
bells.
podcast, James?
Miley, yeah, about next week.
Okay, cool.
He's so available.
Miley, holla at me. We do a basement podcast. Check it out.
It's right up her alley.
But yeah, I mean, when I first heard you, it was like the Tramp Stamps era,
2012.
2012 ish. Is that accurate?
That's when that record came out. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I've been in several eras, and they all last a few years. That one felt
See, that's
like
great though,
the
because
end of
it's
an
just
era.
you. There's no band. There's no 3 guys you have to fucking argue with. And like
There certainly has
the Rolling
been at
Stones did it. We
times.
should do it too. You know?
Oh yeah, nobody in the creative
No.
process. Although I will say that having a producer at the helm, I very much felt always like I was sort of living out their vision, and not having that and being the producer
So you
is
went
a very
the
different thing.
You went the old school like 50s, 60s, or even the way that hip hop people do it now. I'm gonna choose a producer, and they're gonna like be my producer.
Yeah.
For the long haul.
Yeah, like in
the rock band world, they don't do that.
No.
Typically, they bounce around. I mean, occasionally will do like a string of a few records with one guy, but
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah, no, I like attach people to eras.
Yeah,
So
I
there
mean,
you have it.
that's pretty old school.
I guess so. I
Yeah.
am
I kinda
at least
dig.
one of those words.
Yeah.
School.
Old timey.
Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of romantic. I also
Yeah.
think you run the risk of getting comfortable, and like for me, I find it much more challenging to be like, okay, here's a piano and yourself, figure it out.
Like the new record.
Yeah, like the new record. That was how I used to write songs. Although back then I totally didn't know what I was doing, and I was just like a drug addict who was
Yeah.
suffering. And so now, like the sober version of that is, it was a real awakening to like what I can do on my own, and also to the parts of me that had not shown up in the past few years because I was like in somebody else's boat.
Unavailable. Yeah.
And I think that that's been the case since 2006. Like if I think about when I first started really working with one person, like P-Fog and Elliott Smith and those guys all had their hands in that first record, but it wasn't like anyone was telling me what to do. It was just like an environment of encouraging
influence,
me.
right.
But then I really needed that. Like I hope it doesn't sound like I'm talking shit about that.
No, I know exactly.
It
what you're
was
saying.
really
It is
important
what
that
it
I
is.
had that.
Yeah.
Like I needed somebody who pushed me and who believed in me. All of that was super important because I could not have done that for myself. And a
Yeah.
lot of those years of having other people driving the boat built the momentum that then I was able now to sort of move through.
Yeah. No, it's great. I mean, and I commend you for this latest record. It's really cool.
Thanks.
Super brave, really intimate.
I feel scared about it.
I like it, man.
I like it too.
And here's-
so people
Go
are
ahead.
liking it, but it feels scary each time somebody listens.
But here's why it's super smart, because you're not just doing side A.
Right.
Side B exists.
Yeah,
right?
side B exists.
And so what's there to fucking
Do
complain
you
about?
think
No
we
one-
should tell people who are listening what we're talking about with side A and side B?
You go ahead. It's up to you. I mean, if you want,
it's on my
didn't know if
website. I
should.
think that's been out. So side A is just me and the record, and it's just me and a grand piano. Not like I'm Tori Amos or somebody, but like really, I have a hard time comparing it. I don't know. Maybe you can take a stab at comparing it later, but it feels old. Like not old as in like you don't want to hear it because it's stale, but like it feels like it's from another time to me.
Again, old timey.
Old timey.
You're old-timey.
Yeah, I don't really want to be in that category, but yeah, it's a little
No,
old
but it's
timey.
not like
I call it
Portlandia hipster.
stylized.
Okay,
is what I call
It's
I
it.
like
intentional.
that.
It's
yeah,
intentional.
it was all about being quiet, right? Trying to be really quiet and not be afraid to sing and be heard. But because it's so different, like I have a bunch of people who follow me. A lot of them are from the late 90s, and they knew me as this like techno emo weirdo, and this is very much not that. But I think anybody who's been listening to me over the years has sort of been along this progression. It's been a ride, right?
Yeah.
And so at the end of that record that we talked about earlier, it was techno and then an a cappella spiritual, and then that moved into like really a rock place and pop,
Right.
but not dance.
Right.
And then this record, I just all the way, it's just piano. So side A is that, and then side B, because sort of multiple reasons. I think because I want to make sure people have a way of hearing the songs if they're not able to hear them on side A.
Yeah.
Because it is a stretch. Like, I don't know. Maybe it's not. I should probably stop saying that into microphones. But it feels to me like...
What's a microphone?
Exactly. What is a microphone?
I-
It feels to me like the remixes and covers, like having all my favorite bands throughout all the years of being a musician and growing up. We have people like Tiffany on there, and some of my heroes, the Dandy Warhols, are on there
Fuck yeah, dude.
doing covers or reimagining
Ryan
songs.
Lewis, one of my guys.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah.
Ryan Lewis.
Dude, I can't wait to talk to you about that one.
Let's
but
talk
we'll get
about
there.
it. But anyway, so it's like a double record, and it's the same songs, but I sing them how I sing them, and then other people have been reinterpreting them, and it's been magic.
That's
I'm
awesome.
not gonna lie.
That's awesome.
I feel excited about it. I'm also having a
yes.
really hard time with patience.
That's always a battle.
That well,
have a
that's the thing when you
team.
open this up to a bunch of other people now.
Right. I have a team of people that really are
I hope
just
we were
trying
punctual.
to keep me. You were.
Okay, good.
Yeah, keep me on track and not let me leak things and not get impatient and be like, I'm just going to release it. Like,
Don't.
There's too much
Yeah.
at stake and so many people involved. So I'm busy. I'm making the videos. I'm continuing to work, so I feel like I'm doing something with it. While
You're doing interviews, you're doing the
team
podcast.
people
Yep.
are doing the finding a label and things like that.
That's awesome.
Yep.
It's
So
it's what
so
it is.
for people who don't know who he is, we know who he is. But
Yeah.
like, go ahead and like describe like what have you done? Who are you? What
Yep.
do you do?
Oh, God.
Just
Because
the quick bio, the
The quick bio.
Sum up your entire life in
So,
yeah,
2
'cause
minutes.
you've got a very impressive resume. So
Okay,
and
thank
these people need to know about it.
these people.
because Logan is not just a musician; he's also founder of Keep Oregon Well.
Real. That's real. Yeah. So,
So
I've done
that's
a little
huge.
bit of everything. Growing up, I struggled a lot. I was raised in kind of a Christian cult and escaped that. And, because of my life experiences, had like years and years where I was on drugs and really
Yeah.
struggling with
Yep.
having a home. I was houseless at times, homeless at times, in and out of jobs for sure. And, during that period, I was trying to get in touch with my feelings that were kind of causing all of that problem in my life. And the only way I could think about stuff or get those words out was through song. I knew I could write songs. I don't know how I knew that. I just have always written songs.
Yeah.
I've always somehow, I think my cognitive dissonance as a child, as a result of my trauma I experienced, was like that I'm on Kids Incorporated now. Like that was my thing. That's how I survived. I was
Yeah.
like, me and Martika, we're on Kids Incorporated. And
Right.
slowly that became reality over the years. But I always had that inside where that
So what
was
age?
my outlet.
What age? Sorry to interrupt. What age would that be?
Yeah,
for you?
so I
when you
was-
first knew music was a.
I
something
was
you could
hurt
go
really
to.
bad by an adult when I was between the ages of 7 and 9. And I immediately detached from reality and
Yeah.
started really only being able to be reached through song.
Yeah.
And so that was 1987. Tiffany's I Think We're Alone Now came out that year. And
That
it
is
was
so
the
cool.
soundtrack to my
Now she's working on the new
being
record.
connected to the world. Yeah, she tethered me to reality back then, and now we get to work together. So all through those years, though, I moved out here. I was struggling. I had grown up in the Midwest and moved to Portland in 1996.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it wasn't great. I was like in a town of 5,000 people, and so Portland seemed really big at the time.
Yeah.
But I almost immediately, I went to La Luna Queer Night the first night I was here.
The best venue in Portland.
Yeah,
Andrew and I
it
always
really
talk about
was. And I met Elliott Smith and Sean Krogan and Dan Reed and Zia from the Dandy Warhols. It was like before anybody got famous, though. It was
Yeah.
like just a little cute little scene. And I was underage, but I had a fake ID. And I had these really weird songs that people largely had no cultural reference for. I was singing really hard lyrics about suicide and drug addiction and abuse and gay sex and
Right.
things. Oh,
Like,
and
who
like
is this
fucking trying to
kid?
get out of the church, like all kinds of like, super light topics,
Right.
mixed with techno, like weird cheesy techno beats and up. It was happy pop sound. It was that nobody knew what the hell to do with me. Right.
Right.
Like I would play these house shows here, had a really supportive group of bands that believed in me, but I would perform with like Jen Folker from Dahlia or somewhere in town. Like, and people would just literally stand there and scratch their heads, like actual head scratching.
Right.
And then in 2005, like I was kind of like, whatever, I'll just do drugs. This was my first record came out in 2000, and I just retreated into the other scene here, which is party scene.
Drugs.
And came out in 2005 because the Postal Service released their record Give Up, and suddenly, because of fucking Ben Gibbard, this is the story of my life, I'm a little salty about it, but he and I shared a producer before that, and he released the Postal Service, tapped into the mainstream culture, made a bunch of money, and people who had been doing that kind of music, like me and Styrofoam specifically, benefited from that. So then suddenly people were like, oh crap, I know what this guy's doing. So I re-released my earlier work in 2006 along with new songs.
There was context now, so to speak.
Yeah,
Right.
people
Yeah.
were like, oh my God, I'm not scratching my head. He's like the Postal Service, which was a terrible thing for me to hear at the time. But now I'm grateful for them, because what's happened to me since would never have happened if Ben hadn't just like totally stolen my shit. Anyway,
Right.
so 2006, I'm asked because of MySpace to perform at Folsom Street Fair in San Francisco. And that was my first show back since,
Is this
5
like
or 6 years
MySpace
ago.
Records? Or
No,
what?
it's like MySpace, like the website.
Okay.
So like I have songs on MySpace. Some guy from Folsom Street Fair asked me if I want to perform. I go there and it's for 400,000 people. And the head of MTV Artist Development was there, saw my show. I used to do this thing where I was so nervous that I would cry and sing at the same time. I was like kind of crying.
Did
Like,
you know
so-
he was there?
No, of course not. I would
Okay.
have never gone on stage.
Okay, gotcha.
I just thought it was a bunch of naked gay guys. But I used to cry so much that like Gino used to be like, "Don't cry tonight," and Carlos
Aw.
before, like just as a joke, like it's like a running joke, because I really had a hard time with it. Like I was so nervous. I've gotten over that.
That's awful.
It's not great. Stage fright is really tricky when you're
For
also
sure.
like, please look at me, but please don't look at me.
Yeah, yeah.
Anyway, so
All
the
you
head of
want.
artist development at MTV was at that show, and they had just come out with Logo, which is an MTV network. It was the first gay channel. And
Oh, yeah.
They were looking to sign artists, and so he was like, "Would you be interested?" And I said yes. I made 3 videos. They started playing them for 26 million people all the time, around the clock. I started
So
hosting
what
New
record
Now
is that?
Next. That was like the Feed Me to the Wolves EP, like 2006
Okay.
and 7.
Okay.
And
I'm less
then-
familiar with that era.
Yeah, well,
Okay.
Google me harder. It's right here. Anyway,
Yeah, do better, James.
just figure
Google
it
me
out
harder.
later.
Oh, that's great.
So that was like the cultural sort of point where things shifted for me, and I was suddenly this thing that had been really hard, being gay in the Midwest, all this shit
Yeah.
suddenly was like why they were booking me. It was like, we need you because you have this weird identity that
Complete
you hate.
180.
Oh
from
my
what-
God,
yeah.
so weird. Like the church had rejected me, my family had rejected me, and then suddenly MTV is like, yo, you got what we need.
There's a lesson in there somewhere, though.
I mean,
like,
I
be
guess.
yourself.
Yeah.
Talk about the things that you've gone through, and the world shall notice.
There is that. At the time,
even,
I
though-
didn't
even if
have
it's
that
hard.
frame.
And even, yeah, you don't know. You're too young.
And I was like
you're
on
freaking
drugs
out.
still, so it was like bad timing. I got
Right.
nominated for Best New Artist and was in rehab because I had had like a partial stroke. So it was tricky.
You were living the rock star lifestyle
But
as
nobody
you were
could see.
becoming the rock star.
Right.
It was premature. I was burning that bridge before it had even been built. But there was
amazing.
something about that people liked. They liked me as a party boy. They liked me singing about coke.
Well,
And
probably because it was genuine, I
I
would
think probably, and because it's an experience people
that's
can
what people
relate
like.
to. There's
Yeah.
a lot of drug addicts that listen to music.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, so I'm signed then to EMI. The Dandy Warhol started managing my career. That record, From Pillar to Post, came out. That was supposed to be my big break. And I decided to release a song called Bottom Your Way to the Top as the first single. And it was just too gay. Everything about it was too gay. The label was pushing me to be gayer and gayer. They wanted me to wear
Right.
a sailor suit on tour. Like it was crazy.
You want to be the gay
Oh,
artist.
wow.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
you're our gay. And
Right.
like I had been making music as a gay man openly, and sure, like some of it was gay, but it wasn't like I ever was like, I'm a gay artist.
Yeah.
I'm Logan Lynn, gay musician.
That's
Right.
weird, because that's the equivalent to us being in bands being, hi, I'm a straight drummer.
Yeah,
Like,
it's
what the
stupid.
fuck?
You
I've
would
never
never
even
do
been asked
that.
by my
Yeah.
sexuality one time in my life.
Well, the night is young.
right?
Right, but I will say
That's crazy. But that's
it's
really
pigeonhole
weird.
stuff.
Well, I've
I've
always
always never there's never been a straight band on Atlantic Records. You're
Right.
gonna be our straight band.
Right.
well, it's
I
like
mean, maybe, but like
it's a
it's not
given
intentional.
because every band is your
yeah.
straight
Well,
band.
correct me
That's
if I'm
right.
wrong.
Like,
I've always equated it to like you have Christian bands,
yeah,
but there's a lot of bands who are Christian,
Right.
but don't use it as a marketing
like
tool.
Mute Math. You know who they
Right.
are?
Yeah,
They were
of
talking about
course.
how they're
Dude, Mute Math,
a
I
band and they
jammed
just
in
happen to be
college all the
Christian.
time.
I
Yeah.
actually really dig them, but
Yeah.
they're not a Christian band.
Right, but I equate it to a similar sort of
It's putting you in a
ideal.
lane, and you
Yep.
have to
Yeah.
stay
It
in
is
that
very
lane,
similar.
then,
Right.
which
That's a
I
good way
just
to put
think
it.
is weird. And to be honest, a lot of the gay music that was on that channel and coming out at the time was garbage.
Right.
And so I was lumped in with garbage in a lot of ways. And it
No
was
good.
like, no, I'm not. I'm a gay man doing music.
Right.
Like, it's not gay music. It was just
Right.
people
What
were
does that
like,
even
that was
mean?
a crazy decision to put Bottom Your Way to the Top as the lead single.
Yeah.
Like, that was
Yeah.
That wasn't your
terrible.
decision.
No, of course not. Nothing was
yeah.
my decision between 2006 and 2010.
So why
You're
did
a
they?
kid then? You're a
Oh my god!
kid.
And I was newly like off drugs. Like I was just hungry for
Ugh.
opportunity. AC was there. Everyone was telling us that it was like the time. Like
Yeah.
here you are. And then it turned out, to not be the time.
No.
So why do you think they picked that song? Do you have any insight info on
Because
that?
it was gayest.
It was the gayest.
I have no idea. I just think I had a bunch of straight dudes that probably didn't want to be managing my career, that didn't know what to do with me. I had the Dandy Warhols who really got me and believed in me, but they weren't set up with an infrastructure at the label to really handle what needed to happen. So all the bands failed that round. And that
Well,
really
it was a new
hurt.
thing back then too, right? It was kind of like an
was.
uncharted territory. It
It
sounds like.
was, and
Yeah.
everybody suffered because of that. It was a really good learning experience for me, but I really, at that point in time, knew that I needed to kind of be behind the wheel. So I started working with a different producer at that point. I was really trying to still be in that pop lane. And had a few terrible tours. I don't know, like I've been kind of a disaster artist. I feel like I fail up each time, which is great.
Amazing.
Oh my god, Siri.
Logan Siri
You're
just
so right. It doesn't sound good.
that doesn't sound good.
That
But
was really funny.
That
That
was
is
so
amazing.
random.
Joe Rogan, sometimes I'll check into his podcast and he'll set off people's phones,
Right.
people listening, and it pisses. Have you noticed that, Andrew?
I never
Like,
watched that.
Because
or
it's like
hear it.
millions of people that check into his show. It's the most
Right.
popular podcast ever. So we'll go, "Hey Siri." And
Yeah.
just like,
That's
puts
funny.
the mic away.
That
It's
was
so
weird
good.
because I didn't say "Hey Siri," but
I
I,
know.
did say
No.
"Hey fail up."
What?
What the fuck?
How is this happening right
I don't know,
now?
but turn it off.
Yeah,
She
fuck
googled the
off,
microwave.
you goddamn phone.
Wait, what's the word that's throwing this off right now?
Hey Siri. That's what it was.
Yeah, mine did it,
Oh.
but I don't know how that happened the first time.
But
Anyway,
just
this
pulled
is
up a
not
microwave.
riveting
Anyway.
podcast material
Yeah,
right
let's
now.
fuck off with this.
Why is my phone not? Okay,
You
whatever.
have a Galaxy.
You probably turned your.
No, I got my phone.
Just
You probably
kidding.
turned your Siri thing off.
Anyway, so like
so
I
2000
was like doing all this crap, having terrible tours, unhappy, depressed, freshly off drugs.
Yes.
And needed to make a change. I quit mid-tour. I told the Dandy Warhols I was not going to be on the label anymore. I told the band the tour was over even though we were halfway through. I told my publicist to go screw. I was like, get out of here.
And how'd they take that?
Not well. And I had been working on a record, follow-up record for the label, and I knew that I wouldn't, like, they owned me. They owned my likeness. They owned my name. They owned it all. And so I took that record and I started giving it away for free, and I gave it to anyone who would make a donation to Q Center, which was an LGBTQ center here in Portland, like a community
Okay.
center. And I went and I worked there. I was like, you know what? Fuck this. I hate all of this. I'm going to go volunteer every day at Q Center. And I built a new life for myself for a few years.
Yeah.
I was like, I felt like I was done with music. I was certainly done with people looking at me or other people benefiting off of my life and me feeling none of those benefits. Like, that was It sounds like a cliche, like I'm on some weird sad VH1 special, but like it was rough. It sucked.
Well, you were young, and I'm like, I don't know. I mean, I'm sure you signed some sort of a contract, but you were young and eager.
Yeah.
Rehab, like you were saying, like I
Totally.
bet you kind of signed your life away without
wasn't
realizing
great.
It's a lot to take in. As a
They
young
and
guy.
have not being able to go by Logan Lynn. So like when I did that, it
Oh yeah, and that
Which
was
is
your
literally
name.
your
the whole
name.
time.
couldn't go
Yeah.
by my name, and
Yeah.
I couldn't make music under that name. I certainly couldn't sell anything, and they owned my entire catalog from 1998 up until then.
Wow.
And so from
Publishing and
2000
everything?
Oh God, everything.
Ugh.
So from
360
2010 to 2013, the Dandy Warhols really fought for me, and they got all of my masters back. They did all of that for me. So I hope that in
Wow.
my years of being publicly like that shit didn't work out, that I know that they know I'm grateful for what
Yeah,
they did,
they know.
and they're on this new record. So
Yeah.
all's well that ends well. But when I got my music back and I could be Logan Lynn again, I think I had had a few years of just being a normal person. Like
Yeah.
I'm doing press for a cause that I care about versus just like talking about how cool I am all the time on the
Yeah.
radio or TV. And I started feeling inspired to write again. So that's when I wrote Tramp Stamps and Birthmarks, and it actually found commercial success. Strangely, we talked about
did.
that Miley
Yeah.
Cyrus cover. That was all part of that. I had never had that kind of radio play, or I had my music videos watched a million times.
That's
like
first
that.
when I heard you.
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
wild.
Yeah.
And it to me was a clear signal that when I do things myself and I make my own decisions, that the response is better. That I actually authenticity is what fuels the boat, right? And so
Well, it sounds like that's what got you picked up in the first place.
it
was
is
the authenticity.
right.
Yeah.
It is, but this
Yeah.
time you were behind the wheel.
Yeah,
Right.
as
Well,
opposed to
it sounds
cocaine.
like they took
He
the authenticity
He got
out.
picked up for being
did.
authentic,
Yeah.
and then stripped him of that and owned everything.
Yep.
Yeah, it sucked,
that's
man.
interesting.
But then it was good, right? Then I'm like, okay, I'm on my own, and so that I've been in that mode ever since. I blend activism and music in a way that keeps me caring about music, because I care about the activism stuff, the philanthropy stuff.
Yep.
And I've found success in this career that felt unmanageable and disastrous and unpleasant and draining
Yeah.
has over the last 5 years done a total flip, and I feel inspired to create. I feel inspired to be out in the world, and I'm okay with being seen and heard, and I also feel appreciative of the journey I was on. It was hard in it to figure out what was happening, but when I look back, it'll be 20 years this coming year since that first mixtape came out, and each of those problems, when I talk about failing up or whatever, that was all important. None of this good stuff would have happened if I hadn't struggled, and I think I'm able to take that narrative all the way back, even to childhood trauma and things like that. Like, my struggle actually is why I'm able to do this work in mental health. If I didn't know what I was talking about with trauma, I wouldn't know what I was talking about with trauma-informed care or anything
Right.
like that. So it's been really healing to be able to have enough years of me being in my right mind. It'll be 10 years this March since I quit doing coke and crack and alcohol, and it's my life has transformed since
Yeah.
then. So I actually have perspective now that I've never ever had, and
That's
I think
fantastic.
that's valuable.
Fuck yeah, man.
Very valuable.
So how many records after Tramp Stamps? There were 2?
So
Including
Tramp Stamps, Aju, and now this one. Yeah, there's
So this
been.
is
I mean,
the-
there's singles and EPs, but those are the full lengths.
Yeah. Now, at what point did you... So let's talk about Keep Oregon Well and when
Okay.
you started that.
Yeah.
So what year did you found that?
So I had, when Obamacare was coming out, I had met a woman named Laura Dellinger, who's the president of Metropolitan Group downtown, which is like a creative social purpose organization. They are kind of like a White and Kennedy, but like less
Yeah.
about money.
Gotcha.
I mean, I love White and Kennedy. That sounded terrible, but
I see what you're saying.
it's social purpose.
Well, they're marketing. Yeah.
Oh
it's
my God, B Corp. I
an
love
ad
you,
agency.
Widens. Anyway,
I work a ton of their private events.
like
at
I
Crystal
actually fucking love them.
Yeah.
So I hope that everybody hears that.
They're the best
Edit
part
this
of
shit
it.
out. Anyway, so What are we at? What are we talking about? Keep
Keep
Oregon
Oregon
well. Yeah.
Yay.
So in 2012 or whenever all the Obamacare stuff was happening, I got hired by Metropolitan Group to do radical community engagement, which at the time I didn't really know what it meant. But Laura Dellinger saw me as a person who had a network and a link to media that could be useful for public health. So they used me, for lack of a better term, to build a community engagement structure around music and art. And actually, while the Cover Oregon website never worked, the efforts to get people over to the website did. So, like, our ads with bands got lampooned on John Oliver, but it was successful. So
Wow.
that was the first time I had been, like, involved where I thought, oh, God, I see myself as useful. I think that's the key to my feeling inspired. Is like, am I useful in this room? If so, I'll be here all night.
Yeah.
If not, I am out.
Right.
I
Am I adding
don't
value
want
to
to
this
feel
environment?
unuseful.
Same
I've
way.
got that covered already internally. So, you know, I stuck through that to watch it really succeed. And Laura was the president of the board of Trillium Family Services. Trillium is Oregon's largest provider of mental and behavioral health care for children and families, a statewide organization. And they had been doing really great work for kids with the highest acuity of mental illness or of trauma since, you know, in some form, since the late 1800s.
Wow.
But they weren't in community in a way that felt, I think, authentic.
Yeah.
So doing really great clinical work, kids are suffering, families are broken, put the family back together, say best of luck to you. And obviously people out here in the real world don't know what mental illness looks like,
Right.
certainly wouldn't know what recovery looks like, and are
Certainly
just
not recovery.
immediately getting re-injured, right? So traumatized community, traumatized people, you go back out, it's like a trauma cycle. So
Yeah.
they wanted to create an advocacy platform to move the sort of trauma-informed commitments of sanctuary, which is, you know, all, like empathy and open communication, all these sort of values that I actually hold really deep to my heart already. I just didn't have a framework for it. Wanted my help in building a platform, a coming out movement for people with lived experience of mental and behavioral health challenges, a way to get teens and tweens engaged in mental health and kids to think that it's cooler to tell the truth about who you are than to hide.
That's a big
Wow.
one. I feel like
That's
that's a big
awesome.
one. Yeah.
It was a big one. And it was my dream, right? It's my big dream for the world. And so I was like, great, sign me up.
I love it.
2014, I went and have been building it. By 2015, we launched it. It's keeporegonwell.com. And, you know, I have a concert series with all different kinds of bands.
I
We've
know.
done with hundreds of bands, artists. Do a lot of stuff in schools. So we build a curriculum depending on what the school's need is and go in and, like, teach emotional intelligence and things that you just, like,
What's the
have
staff
to know.
like at Keep Oregon Well?
So we have 700 people that work for Trillium. Everybody's kind of Keep Oregon Well staff in that sense. But I have 8 people that are designated throughout the state that are paid staff.
It's fantastic.
Yeah.
Good
Yeah, it's
for
been
you.
great. And every year we do like a Keep Oregon Well Mental Health Heroes Awards, which is a way for us to clap
of
for
which.
people who never
we go.
get clapped for. And every May during Mental Health Awareness Month, I have a huge black and gold gala with Sheila
Oh, is that what that
Hamilton.
is?
Mhm.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, we
you
throw
always
a
get dressed
party.
and wear like a tux.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It's like a black tie party for people who are from all walks of life to come and stand and be counted. It's like
Did you create this color scheme too?
I
Yellow and black?
did not. Keep Portland Weird did. I totally jacked it, but I did that on purpose. I talked
Okay.
to them like that. Part of what I wanted to do.
Oh, it is. Yeah, it is the same.
It's
That's right.
exactly the same, and it was on purpose. Part of what I wanted to do was tap into an easily recognizable brand so that there was instant sort of recognition
And a good brand.
And then,
Keep Oregon
yeah,
Weird,
no,
mental
it's like,
health,
well,
like,
like
yeah.
if we can create a whole culture around keeping Portland weird, we should be able to create a culture around keeping Oregon well, right? That was the
And
idea
happy
behind
and
it.
yeah.
It was like, come on, like let's meet the two. And so it's been special to watch people who never, you know, presidents of corporations, people who would have never felt safe to stand up and say, I'm depressed, or I struggle with suicidal ideation, or I was abused, I'm a survivor. All of the stuff that people are proudly saying. And also, like, people with mental illness technically standing up and being counted as people who matter,
Yes.
and having us celebrate neurodiversity as opposed to illness. Like, it's like your brains are different, and guess what? Everybody has mental health. Nobody gets a day where you don't have mental health. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad, just like sometimes your foot hurts and sometimes it doesn't.
Right.
Your brain's part of your body. So,
That's right.
contrary to popular belief,
That's
it
a really
actually
good metaphor.
It
is.
is a
Whatever
good
you-
minute.
yeah.
So
Thank
therapeutically,
you.
does Keep Oregon keep Oregon
Yeah.
well? Are there therapists on staff, or is
Yeah.
it more so that
Yeah,
that's
so it's
part
a
of it?
social awareness campaign, and there are therapists on staff because I'm partnered with clinicians to make sure that I'm doing the right stuff, right? Like, I'm a
Right.
person with lived experience myself. I have the coming out piece right. I start everything by telling my story so that other people feel safe to tell theirs. But I'm in partnership with clinicians, with master's level clinicians and doctorate level clinicians who
Great.
can really help lead the way. I'm also chief impact officer at Trillium, which means that I'm on the executive team and helping to run a major health system, which is radical in that they value me and my lived experience on par with doctors who went to school to learn about how to treat people with my condition. So it's pretty special. I feel really useful, back to that
Yeah.
piece. And I think it's awesome that this crappy shit that happened to me as a kid has led to a social movement that's catching people at that same age
Yeah.
who don't have to suffer, right? Like, I wasn't listening to adults in 1987 at all, but I was listening to Tiffany. I was listening to Milli Vanilli. I was listening to
Right.
New Kids on the Block.
Right.
And had they spoken about mental illness or feeling sad on the road,
Right.
or that life isn't perfect and it's okay to be different, I would have listened to them.
Right.
And so,
Well, that was
that's
the
what
thing,
we're
that-
doing now.
Yeah,
That's
that,
great.
That was the thing
That's
growing, like, for me, because I've always struggled with some mental issues as well. Yeah, for me growing up, like, you were always told it's like suck it up kind of mentality,
That's
right?
how my family is.
Right. Pick
Yeah.
yourself up by the bootstraps, friends.
Yeah, and it's like, well, it's something else is going on that I can't quite explain to you, kind of idea.
Yeah.
And so it's really cool to have, like, people
Yeah.
are starting to become like there is a problem here.
Totally.
let's be
Well, and
aware of
people
it.
want to ask what's wrong with you, right? Like, everyone always asked me what was wrong with me. And had they just asked me what had happened to me instead,
Right.
that would have been a very different experience.
And that getting help is okay.
In fact, you have to.
You have to. We
In
were
fact,
talking about this
everyone
earlier.
should be doing that. In fact, you're doing it wrong if you don't.
Well, for me
yes.
too, it was like, because I would always get told by friends and stuff, it's like, oh, I have bad days too, and it's like, well,
That's not what I'm saying, yeah.
something different is going on here.
Right.
Like, I can't quite put my finger on it because,
Yeah.
like, back then too, like, mental health was still like early '90s. You know,
Neil-
like mental health was not.
Yeah,
seen
it wasn't.
as- yeah.
It's the stigma. Hashtag fight the
Yeah.
stigma. I mean, that's the
That's what
coolest
we're
part about it.
doing. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you don't have to talk about it if you don't want to. But what's the thing you struggle with the most?
Oh, geez. I mean,
Mentally.
I'll talk about it all day long. I mean, depression definitely.
Yeah.
And then the depression
What does
triggers.
that feel like? Like, what does that mean?
Well, the depression triggers anxiety, and then they snowball into each other. And so, because like when I was younger, I saw therapists and stuff, and but for me, it's like, damn. I mean, it's about to get deep, but there's
No, dude,
like
go for it.
there's probably, I mean, if you were to take over the course of like 30 days, like a month's time, maybe 2 or 3 of those days, I wake up feeling motivated.
Yeah, that's
the-
classic depression. I that's what I struggle with too.
Yeah, and so like, and I mean, there's like I'll wake up, at a decent hour, like 9 o'clock or something in the morning, 8 o'clock, 7 o'clock, but then I'll lay in bed a lot of the time till 1 or 2 in the
Right.
afternoon
Yeah.
because like I'm still trying to get the motivation
You're
to
not
get up, and
connected
then
yet.
and then people tell me it's like, oh well, you just need to stop being lazy, and it's like, no, there's
No,
something
that's-
else going on here.
People are assholes. That's
yeah.
that bottom line.
Yeah, but I mean, and then
Right.
a lot of my, so I've learned it's a lack of self-confidence as well. So like if I had a bad day in the studio yesterday, or if I'm having trouble with a mix or something, the next morning I'll wake up and it'll affect me.
Yeah.
And I find it more and more difficult to get up. But so what I have to end up I have to basically try to force myself out of it, which doesn't sound good, but like you have to. I don't know. It's tough.
Fake it till you make it.
Yeah, kind of. You have to like just have to like. I feel like I have to just like kind of get up and do it and
Like your routine gets you out of it.
kind of,
It does
yeah.
for me.
Actually, that's a good way to put it. Yeah.
Well, what do you think, Logan? Like someone, it doesn't not specifically you, Neil, but someone that would say that to you, like I feel like I have depression.
Yeah.
What would you say to them, as far as
Well, I
help
think you
and
should
like
go
what should they
talk
do?
to somebody first, right?
Who?
I mean, a therapist.
Yeah.
I keep Oregon well. We have tons of resources for folks. That's partly what we're doing, right? We're trying to make it where, first of all, it feels safe for people like you to say, "Hey, me too."
Yeah.
And then second, like, where do I go? Like, well, you go to the front.
You
page
can
of our
go here
website.
and
Yeah,
find
right.
Really?
Well,
Okay.
off that point
That's
too,
good
if
to know.
I could real quickly, because like when I was younger, I was like maybe 7 or 8 years old, and I saw a therapist. They were telling me the same stuff. Suck it up.
See,
Like,
that's
grow
Sounds
up.
like you had a bad therapist.
and that's the
I
thing.
had
is
I had 5.
I did
I
once
saw
too.
5 different ones, and they all told me the same thing.
I had a therapist that bailed on me.
Yeah.
We were
Yeah.
getting a good rapport, and I was starting to trust him. And then he was like, "Oh, I told you I was moving to Arkansas next week, right?"
Right.
I'm like, "Huh?"
Yeah, therapists
It
are people
fucking
too.
crushed me.
I had
Yeah.
my very first therapy experience. I was 14, and I had been seeing a boy at school secretly.
Yeah.
And this therapist was a Christian therapist and outed me to my parents. And because my boyfriend had turned 18 the week before,
That's illegal, isn't it?
I had to
no.
be sent to Tennessee to live with a different family. So I'm just saying.
So yeah, I wonder
that
how you felt about therapists after that.
Therapy is a
Like,
challenge for me too.
Wow.
Right.
And like dating, the first few are gonna suck. Maybe the first 10 suck, and
fucking
and
asshole.
eventually you get to one that doesn't.
That's the
And
thing, Neil.
It's important, and maybe it's
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
therapists, right? So that's prescriptive.
Well, no,
Maybe-
I have trust for him now because,
Yeah.
like, I feel like, with stuff like what you're doing, it's
Yeah.
becoming a lot more aware.
For sure.
Yeah.
And there's more options. But I think behind what I'm trying to say is like connection is what matters, right? So like maybe it's a therapist, maybe it's a family member, maybe it's somebody who also wakes up and has a hard time getting out of bed. To me, like not feeling so alone is the motivator. And so every day I get up and I do this stuff because I know that I can't be the only person who wants to drive off the bridge.
can't be.
I know,
You're literally not.
I know that I'm not.
Dude, for years I thought I was the only one.
No,
Like,
I
legitimately.
see that every time I'm
Yeah.
on the bridge. It's I have
Yeah.
persistent suicidal ideation. It's never gonna go anywhere. My impulse control is what I have been working on for 2 decades, and I have that under wrap. But to try to not be depressed, to try to not have trauma strapped to my back, to try to not want to kill myself, those are insurmountable feats. I will always have that. And
Wow.
I will always have
It's
a
really
self-care
interesting.
plan
Right.
that allows me to not act on my impulses, that allows me to feel connected even when I feel
That's it.
like there's no
That's
one
it.
around.
The
Like,
self-care
I have
plan.
a lot
The
of
plan.
ways I take care of myself.
You have
Therapy is
structure.
part of it. Routine is a huge part of it.
Yeah, well, for me too, growing up into that point, I was aware that I was having those things, but I always felt like a piece of shit because I felt like nobody else was, and so I was like, "What the hell is wrong with me?"
That shit that happens as a kid is so lasting.
Yeah, you are who you were at age 7 forever.
I'm lucky enough that I didn't have like specific trauma. I can't pinpoint someone didn't hurt me, someone didn't
Yeah.
abuse me, nothing like that. But it's that sustaining shit.
Mm-hmm.
It's just passive aggressive nature in my family or whatever it might
Sure.
be, and it really fucks you up.
Yeah,
I'm 34 years old and it still bothers me today,
Yeah. I
and it'll never go away.
Well, it's like the nature of being alive, right? Like life is kind of trauma. Like not to be a bummer.
No, it's like, but that's the Buddhist way.
When you look
Life is
at
suffering.
like trauma theory as like a scientific theory, human beings experience all change as trauma. If I
Yes.
move, it's a trauma. If
Parents
I-
divorce.
Oh my God! Every
Fucking-
loss, every change,
Uh-huh.
everything is a physiological, emotional trauma. And so once you start to understand that, it's like you don't have to have had a bad
No.
experience. You grew up in America. You're traumatized, right? And to me, like getting to a place where I could accept that everybody, including the people who hurt me, were at one point people who were hurt. That
we're also hurting.
hurting
Wow.
people hurt
Yep.
people, friends. Like that's the
Dude.
deal. And so to have
God, what a bummer.
compassion for everybody is a challenge. But as people are being assholes to me, stealing my stuff, taking my ideas, breaking up with me, what the fuck ever, if in my adult life now, I always ask inside my head, what has happened to this person that
Exactly.
is making them act like this?
Yep.
And instantly after I ask that question, I don't feel mad. I feel compassionate. I assume something worse than what has happened to me today is happening to them, and I move on. Maybe they flip
Understanding
me
is
off,
so
but it's
important.
over.
Yeah,
Right.
I was lucky enough. I figured that out several years ago. My thing is I don't get mad at people. I get mad at myself.
Right.
It's all introverted. Is all the thing. Like if I
Yeah, but that's the same thing. I mean,
Is it?
I think it is. I mean, Logan, you're probably more qualified, but if you're
Se-
taking it out on you,
self-deprecating, I guess, is
yeah,
the word?
if you're
Yeah.
taking it on you,
Yeah.
well, you are just like people. So
It's
you
like drug
also,
addiction is what that's all. Drug addiction,
Exactly.
suicidal ideation, cutting,
yep.
or just internal narratives of I'm not good enough. All of that.
No,
It's like
that's
you could
it.
also interrupt that with like, what's happened to me?
What's happened to
Why do I
me?
feel
You have to have a conversation
that
with yourself.
way? What part of what I've done or experienced has led me to feel this way?
That's what I'm just the way that he has conversations about the people that are hurting him, like he just got done saying.
Right.
You have to have that same conversation with
It's
yourself.
a practice, man. I have a team of
hard to do.
people that I do this with every day. It sounds really stupid, but every meeting we have, every time we get together, we start by going around the circle, around the room, like we would have done it here, for instance. I say, how are you feeling? What are your goals? And are you going to risk for help? And those three questions bring out, for whatever reason, everybody's feeling experience on the front end of the meeting, on the front end of the get together, on the front end of band practice.
What are you feeling? What are your goals? Who are you going to
gonna
ask for help?
Yeah, it totally changes the whole way you are in the world. And I ask myself,
Well, I like
what
that.
are you feeling all day
I'm gonna write
long?
that down.
Because
'Cause I'm a nerd.
I can't control my feelings, but I can control the narrative I assign to them, and I can control my reaction to them. And I think I used to feel like that was impossible, and that I had to be medicated to survive, and all sorts of things.
That's kind of
And
where I'm at.
Some of that's true, and
Yeah.
medication is a really useful tool. But the narrative was what was really killing me. My feeling and telling myself all day long, I'm not good enough, I'm broken, you deserved this, you're fucking up your life, you're fucking everybody
Right.
else's life
Right.
up, you'd be better, everyone would be better if you're not here. All of that stuff was so powerful, much more powerful than whatever chemical imbalance might be happening, or the trauma I might still be processing. It's like that old horror movie adage, like the calls coming from inside the house.
Yeah, it's a good
That
way to
shit
put it.
is real.
Yeah.
Right.
No,
You
so
are what you
so
think.
so what? So based off of what you just said, what are some of the things that helped you get out of that?
Music.
Okay.
Having a place to put all this
Performing
stuff.
music, writing music,
like
or
me at a piano in the dark is how I
Which is literally what you're doing.
survive, and that's what I do. And so, a lot of people send me messages like, "Are you okay?" after they see those clips on my Instagram, and it's like, yeah, I actually
Really?
am okay now.
That actually made
but
you
I
better.
wasn't before.
Yeah.
Before I made that thing you're apparently scared of, I wasn't okay, and now I am because of
thanks
this
for asking.
weird writing in the dark situation.
Yeah, there's like countless videos.
And
have you ever noticed that like you feel so depressed that you don't even feel like doing that?
yeah, then I have other things I do.
Like
so
what?
I have a list of shows that I love. Friends. If I watch Friends for 2 hours straight, I feel better.
Because it's
No
just
lie.
so yeah.
And that's not probably your favorite show, but like whatever your
No, I
favorite
get it.
weird
I
stupid
get it.
show
I
is,
get
like
it.
put that. If you cannot get out of bed, put a TV near your bed and watch your favorite show for 2 hours. You can get out of bed probably.
Right.
I think harm reduction. So like I am an alcoholic, but there's other things that you can do that make you feel better. Maybe that's exercise. Maybe that's shopping.
Exercise is key.
There's a
yeah.
lot of stuff you can do. I think it's different for everybody, but having a plan, making a plan when you're well for what you're going to do when you're not is essential. And I
Yeah.
think you're right that if that sort of making music feels like work, then that's not your self-care plan, that's work, right?
Well, see, what happens for me at least is because like music was always my passion. In the past, 11 years ago, music for me was my escape. It
Yeah.
was my to make myself better.
Yeah.
But then as time went on, I got older. I don't know what happened. This is something I'm still trying to figure out. A lot of the time, it feels like
It's also
work.
your job now. You know,
Yeah,
now that
well,
you're a producer in a mix
I mean,
engineer, it's
I
not-
do. I know I do enjoy it. I know
Yeah.
I do, but there's a lot of times, a lot of days where I wake up and it's like, okay, I have to do this, as
Right.
opposed to before, like when I was younger, it was like, oh my god, I don't have to do anything. I get to do this.
Right. Yeah.
And so that's what I'm struggling with these days. So
But
I don't
Logan,
know.
clarify though, if your self-care plan, like the thing that, like for you, it's friends, right?
It's friends if I can't get out of bed. It's fancy restaurant if I can. It's
But is
call
do-
my mother.
But is sometimes watching Friends, do you even have to force yourself to do that?
oh yeah.
Okay, so that's key.
But
Yeah,
I know
so
that
that's
that's my
key.
plan.
But that he
Like,
knows
I have
that's the
to.
plan.
That's my drugs.
That's
I have to take
huge.
friends right now.
So
that clarifies everything.
yeah, so
That makes sense.
yeah, if you wouldn't mind, so maybe walk me through a day where it's I can't even watch Friends. So what do you do
Yeah.
when you wake up? You feel like that. What's your first plan of action? What are your
So I
steps?
have a couple of people identified in my life that I call.
Yeah.
If there are my people that I call when I'm really at the end, and I do that. I have not called a lot, but I call when I need to, or if I feel like I'm gonna need to
It's the lifeline.
to hit that. Yeah, but like not like a scary lifeline. Just
No,
like
I
a,
meant in that stupid
hey, I
show
need coffee
context.
lifeline. Hey, can we talk for 5 minutes about something positive lifeline? Like
Right.
just take my mind off this. So I do have a couple trusted people that I rely on in times of crisis. And I have my self-care plan printed out. It's on my fridge. It's on the backside of my badge at work. It's on my voice notes. It's
No joke.
everywhere.
It's no joke. It's
Like you actually
literally
have to see it to remember.
Yeah.
Like wherever, like there's a picture of a dick hanging on the wall.
I love it.
You should put your self-care plan next to that.
right.
Okay,
Right
so
next to your work
is-
flow chart.
is it
like-
something that we can share? Is that something you wouldn't mind going over, like what your plan is that you have printed out?
Yeah, I'm happy to. It's different for everybody. It's actually a document that we do at work through Keep Oregon Well. Self-care plan is like the whole thing.
Cool.
I'm happy to like share that with you and get you your
Sure.
own.
Yeah,
Yes.
I would just love to hear an example. 'cause
Everybody
that-
should
This
have
is a
to.
whole new
Yeah.
philosophy
So for like
me.
my assistant, like she's really into yoga, and every now and then we have heated like meetings, and she's like, I gotta go do my self-care plan, and I'll
Gotta
walk
do
around
it.
the corner. She's in there like deep breathing in her office, right? Like that's her
That's
her
fucking
deal.
rad.
We also have
so cool.
miniature ponies at work that are like therapy ponies.
Oh, see,
and
mine
I,
are cats.
I know
love
that our
cats.
like the vice president, her self-care plan is go say hi to the pony.
That's awesome.
It's really what makes you happy. And so it sounds to me like in your life in particular, you've had a shift where like your escape has now turned into sort of an oppressive force at times where you're
At
like,
times,
shit,
yeah.
I
Right.
don't fucking want to do this today. And also I have to. That's not escape.
It
that's
comes
work.
into a lot of self-consciousness and a lot of self-doubt is why that
It's
is.
a stressor. It doesn't
Yeah.
sound like it's always relieving stress. It's like creating some. So
More
think
so
about-
now than
Yeah.
yeah, it shifts. But it also
Yeah.
like I've had that too, right? Like I'm like I quit music. I sent out a press release that was Logan Lynn commits career suicide
Yeah.
to everyone. Like that is crazy. And also here I am, right?
Right.
And also here I
just
am.
think it's like it's a thing, man. It's hard and if you're really methodical about it and you figure out what makes you happy in a time where you can. So like next time you feel better, make this list.
Yeah, that's I'm in that crossroads where I'm aware something's going on. I'm aware of what needs to happen, but at the same time, I don't have my miniature pony. I don't
Yeah.
know. I don't know what that looks like
You'll
yet.
find
I'm
it.
still
Figure that
trying to
out.
figure that out.
That's
yeah.
You'll
that's
figure
something
it
you
out.
can figure out.
Any
Like, what makes
tips
you
on how to
happy?
do that?
Yeah, I don't know you well enough to give you
Right,
personal
but what
tips,
like
but
for
like,
you example?
I am really into animals. I sometimes go pet animals at the Humane Society. In the past, I have left with animals when I do that, so it's a little bit dangerous. But everybody has pets. I love, I can do animals all day long.
Yeah.
Writing down angry letters to the heads of companies and the president and shit that I have no control over makes me feel better. I
Right.
do that. Watching Law and Order, fucking Law and Order SVU, where
Right.
weird rapists get in trouble and go to jail,
Yeah.
makes me feel better every time. I will watch that all day long sometimes because I get a feeling of justice from that. If I'm feeling like the world is unjust.
If you watch it all day, do you feel guilty?
No.
that you're not getting work done?
Fuck no.
Fuck
Really?
no.
You're
Interesting.
getting
No,
work
because you
done.
matter.
You can't function. Think about it like this: if you're in an airplane, the thing they say to you is put your gas mask on, put your oxygen
first,
mask on
and then help
first.
others.
Yeah,
And then help others.
So if you think about work or tasks or like shit you got to do as others, you have to make yourself whole first.
That's
and
right.
That's about being happy.
You know, Neil, we talked about
Such
this
a good point.
a couple days ago. Like,
Yeah.
if you're building a house, you don't start with the roof,
Yeah,
and the
exactly.
windows, and
Oh,
the
yeah.
carpet. You start with the
No.
foundation.
No, I give that analogy to people
the
all
footings.
the time.
You start down.
But
you
he
go up.
just cleared it up for me though.
Love it.
That's
Yeah.
good. It's
Good.
actually.
Like when I did the fire academy, I was a firefighter for 3 years.
Oh my god, I have so many almost firefighters in my life. So
and,
weird.
And so when I did that, the number one thing they teach you in the academy is what Logan just said.
You have to help yourself before you can
You,
help others.
you're not a
Yeah.
good firefighter or a medic if you're not alive.
dude. In the
Ding, ding,
You
ding.
can't help people out of that house if you're dead.
you guys might be able to chime in on this, but in the era that I grew up in, it was wrong to work on yourself first.
Fuck all that.
Do you know what I'm talking
Well,
about?
see where that got them.
Old and antiquated.
Yeah, but like it was you know
My
like
grandpa died when he was 60. Most of my family dies super young because they drank themselves to death
Right.
or
Generational.
but you remember
trauma.
that
like-
cultural shift that happened when in the 90s.
It's still happening. There are
It's still-
still
yeah.
people that would judge you at work for saying, I gotta go take care of myself, or I'm gonna take a personal day or mental
or that I
health
see a
day."
therapist.
Yeah.
You know how
but,
long
like,
it took me
Well,
to
it's not
say
even that,
I
it's
say
just
it
like
all
they-
the time now.
They
And I love
like
it.
you
You're
like the way I was
out
I was
with it.
brought up was you have to look out for everybody before yourself. That was the way I was brought up.
No, well, that's a nice saying, and it's fucking.
Yeah, I'm not
it's
arguing
bullshit.
it. I'm just saying it's interesting how that. And now
But the
them
thing
making
about that
equate.
is, you can't help anyone if you're not healthy yourself.
is
You
it-
can't be productive.
which
if
I
you're not
agree
healthy.
with more.
And most of what
Yeah,
I
it's
learned
interesting.
growing up was
You matter
bullshit,
first.
too. Like
That's-
I
yeah.
reject all of that.
Fuck yeah, dude! And think it's not that long ago. I mean, we're still monkey-brained people, but not that long ago, these were fucking monkeys walking around.
Yeah.
Monkeys.
Oh,
I love monkeys. That's my self.
Yeah, monkeys are adorable. I love monkeys too.
It's all fun and
Baby
games till
chimps
they
are really
chew your
cute, too.
face off.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, think about what they thought in the 20s.
Yeah, they were like
Outrageous.
strung out. Everybody just should feel like they
insane.
have permission to go get help, to
Yes.
get well, to say who
Yes.
they are out loud. If you need permission, I'm giving you permission right now. Not that you need my permission, but if you're listening, just feel like you can do it. It's like not that big a deal. And
No.
like thinking about it, like you have to have all the answers is also wrong. Like don't have any answers. Figure out one thing.
One thing at a
Figure
time.
out what you like to do. Figure out something that makes you happy, and then figure out a way to try to lean into that as much as you can.
Yep.
And it's not realistic to think that everybody can go on a vacation or take time off or do
Yeah.
some of the stuff that I do
Yeah.
for myself, and it wasn't realistic for myself 10 years ago either, right?
But it took you time.
Yeah,
time.
and here I am being all kinds of vacuous.
Yeah, and you get sparkly gold shoes on.
Yeah. Well,
Which are rad.
I personally feel like mental health is one of those things that is just now starting to become a scientific study.
Yeah.
Because like we know all
Yeah.
kinds of shit about the physical body. We know about bones,
Yeah.
muscles, blah blah blah, blood.
Yeah, we
But-
used to like shock people's
but the
brains
mental-
and lock
the-
them up.
Yeah, the mental
we did.
aspect you can't see.
Not always, and when you do,
Yeah.
it can be really scary, right?
Yeah.
Like,
So,
people
but
don't
this is why
understand that.
science is, I feel like, has been slow to catch up to it.
It's stigma. There's also no
Stigma.
data to prove that anything's true because of the stigma. We used to lock
Right.
people up. We weren't treating people.
Electroshock treatment and
Dude,
shit.
it's
Yeah.
outrageous.
Yeah, it was bad. And I think people were mistreated and abused, right? Like you have a bad therapist. A lot of people were mistreated and abused by the industry. It's hard to do LGBTQ outreach because it wasn't that long ago where gay people and trans people were put into mental institutions for being gay,
Yeah.
right? So there's, I think, a
Awful.
lot of barriers. And I think Keep Oregon Well and the work I'm doing, that Audio record was all about this too, right? Like creating a conversation space for people to feel like it's normal, to feel emboldened to stand up and be like, oh yeah, me too. Wow, that guy is saying that out loud. Yeah, okay, me too.
Do you guys work with a lot of LGBTQ?
Yeah, it's
people?
also an equity and inclusion platform, right? So communities of color, queer kids.
Mhm.
If you think about my experience, so I've built this whole thing around what would I have needed? What would have interrupted
Oh,
my
wow.
trauma process?
Right.
What did I need? And we use
pull from
me
what you know.
as a case study. I know a lot of it, and certainly the clinicians that I work with know more. But a lot of what
Wow.
I needed was connection, right? Was feeling like I'm part of something. And so if we've created that for people who feel invisible by telling queer kids stories or by having spokespeople that look like folks, as opposed to just having it be like me, hi, I'm a white guy and I represent everybody.
Yeah.
That to me, I think, has been the magic, right? Like people see themselves in this campaign, they see themselves in the movement. I partner with people like Lars Larson and folks like that because
You reached across the aisle.
I reached all the
Good
way
for
across
you.
the aisle
Good
and
for
then
you.
around
Good for you.
again. Yeah, I think there
fantastic.
has to be everybody at the table. Mental health doesn't care who you vote for.
Right.
Mental illness doesn't care
course
if you're
it doesn't.
Christian, and trauma doesn't care if you're queer or not.
Right. Wow. That's awesome.
That pretty much sums it up.
Yeah. No, I love it. I absolutely love it. And
Okay, but while we were doing all that, Andrew was scrolling through my Instagram. He went all the way to the very first picture I posted, which looked to me like a picture of Barbie doll Cher.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
I saw that. I also noticed how you're following 666 people on your
Across all
Instagram.
channels. So
Yep.
if I ever follow you back, it means somebody got cut
So you keep it at 666.
for years.
interesting.
I'm not trying to be
awesome.
the mark of the. Yes, you pulled it
Yay.
up. So this is from years ago. They're looking at my Instagram, and I appear to have given Cher doll a makeover. It's
What the fuck? That's so
fantastic.
terrifying.
Yeah, really weird.
Andrew, where are we at on the clock there, big boy? I
One
think
hour.
we're there.
Dude, we're
Let's-
so good at this time thing.
I know, we're fucking
every
good.
Time for a
time.
break.
Yeah, we're
Yeah,
gonna
every-
do our ceremonial pee break.
Oh yeah,
Logan,
it's the pee party.
where we all go have a
Yep.
pee party,
Love it.
and then we'll come back, talk about things of the world, and I have a couple other things for you. How about that?
Chop chop.
Choppity chop.
Surprise!
We'll be right back.
Apple pie. Welcome back. James peed twice. Oh my god, so much poop.
Gia, welcome back, everybody. We
Hi.
all successfully peed. Yes, everyone.
Yes.
I think
sometimes some of us more than once.
I peed twice, everybody. That's a lot of beer and coffee through this young male. I'm not young. What are we talking about?
Sure you are.
I was gonna call you out, but I didn't want to be mean.
I'm young for like the world. I'm not young for a human being.
Young
I mean,
for
the
the
world
earth.
is billions of years old. Of course, you're young for the world.
Yeah, exactly. So
Jesus.
I'm young for the world.
That makes a lot of sense.
So much poop. Okay.
My wife just texted me, "Are you doing a podcast right now?"
Speaking
Question mark?
of poop.
Definitely.
Yes.
Definitely, Mom. I said I meant
really
wife.
know.
Sorry, Mom. Didn't mean
Sorry,
to call you
Ma.
out there.
Drew,
Yo.
let's do some current events
All right.
with Logan Lynn.
Great.
What you got, brother?
Who's
Here's
Logan?
the big one.
No, I'm joking.
Charles Manson is dead. That motherfucker.
What? He's dead?
What a
Yeah, he
sweetheart.
just died the other
Rest
day.
in shit.
Rest in shit.
Yeah.
What a charming fellow.
What did
Yeah. What a just a swats gun on his forehead kind of guy.
Lovely.
What did he
Salt
die
of
of?
the
Lovely
earth.
guy. They said natural causes. What I
Oh.
read.
Okay.
A career criminal, amateur musician.
He didn't
Not-
drink any Kool-Aid or anything?
No, he just had other people
Good
do
one.
that.
I love cold humor.
Do you know that he didn't physically kill anybody?
Yeah.
He just had his minions do it for him.
I read a whole thing yesterday
Crazy.
on Donald Logue's page, who is like a famous TV guy. For some reason, I follow him on Facebook, and he was talking about a movie star that had been around Charles Manson in the 60s, and the way he did his power over people was like what we would call in present day sort of hypnotic guided meditation.
Right.
But he would like get people high
Whoa.
without any drugs, and then have
I
them
wanna know
do
that
really
skill.
wild stuff, like kill people.
Would kill people.
Yeah,
Jesus.
love him.
I really don't understand the whole thing. Like
Same.
all these women were just, oh my god, they
Well, that was
loved
the
him,
first time
wrote
I
him
had
letters.
heard any
and, like,
explanation that like actually he was doing hypnosis, sort of mind control on people.
I mean, that makes so much sense now. Like, I don't get it.
Well, it could technically, possibly,
creep.
perhaps play into what we were talking about earlier with a bunch of people who were not understood who found somebody that seemed like they were
right,
understood.
looking
Yeah,
for love in all
right.
the wrong places.
That's what
Yeah.
cults are, right?
Yep.
I have been in cults before and around cults, and I think it is filling a void in your life for sure.
Right. Ooh, have you watched Leah Remedi's
Oh,
Scientology shit?
obsessed.
Oh, it's so
But
good.
why is it on four
Thank
times
God
a week?
someone's
it's on
finally watching it.
constantly.
Yeah,
Or
it's-
you've met people that aren't watching it.
These two assholes.
Well,
Well, Neil doesn't watch anything.
I live in a cave.
He
oh
doesn't
my God,
observe pop
caves
culture
are
at all.
perfect for TV.
I'm a pop culture junkie.
I don't even think that's pop culture. I think it's like significant
So
culture
good.
shift.
I would agree.
It's like she's
Agreed.
bringing down Goliath, bro. Oh, it's those same
Dude,
shoes.
it's so good.
Oh, they are.
Oh, look at that.
These shoes are stars.
Logan is wearing the sparkly gold shoes in his video "Oh Lucifer."
And also,
Off
behind
a
the scenes
Jew.
info wears them in real life.
Who?
You.
Said behind
Oh,
the scenes info. Oh my god, who
Sorry, I
am
just checked out for a
I?
second.
That was totally hard.
He was thinking about that poop he took
I'm not even
earlier.
stoned, and I just checked out. Wow. Well, let's go back to Manson. What a son of a bitch. How
Right,
about
I think
that?
we covered that, right? Like he sucks.
Yeah,
Goodbye.
he sucks.
Bye, girl.
Goodbye.
You think he's in heaven or hell?
I don't believe in.
I don't believe
either
in
of
both.
those.
I think
Ooh,
he's in
double
his own
answer
hell.
at the same time right there. I like
Yeah.
that.
I love a double answer.
What else you got? AC.
All right. AC/DC's
Oh,
Oh,
Malcolm
yeah.
Young has passed.
this is a
Oh.
real one. This
Feels
is
like everybody's.
He's
dying.
kicking Manson's
Age of
ass
64.
right
It's
now.
pretty young.
yeah,
Is
pretty young. Yeah, and
Fairly
like
young, rather.
all the people that were posting about him, like Dean Del Rey, Andrew.
Yeah.
Yeah, this guy that me and Andrew follow, his name is Dean Del Rey. Highly recommend him. Stand-up comedian, podcaster,
Okay.
perfect guy. I think he was on Jay Moore's podcast.
Awesome.
Yes, many times.
Jay
They toured
Moore.
together.
Shout out.
Shout out. But yeah, Malcolm Young, one of the greats. Rhythm guitar player for AC/DC. Obviously,
Rock or bust.
he was the best, man.
I never really listened to them because
I didn't
growing
till
up
later
I was
either.
like not allowed to listen to secular music, so I missed a lot of that.
Oh, bummer.
But I can sing any Amy Grant song you want me to sing.
Dude, I'm such a Andrew,
Yo.
the Macmillan family, Amy Grant,
Oh, nonstop.
nonstop.
I feel like I hope you're not mocking me right
No. Am I mocking him?
No, he would play this shit on his own.
you don't
Like,
understand.
years later,
Like,
he would
I
still rock
actually
it.
Baby,
love
baby,
Amy Grant.
Heart in Motion, the
Yeah,
Christmas
yeah.
How many times
songs.
have you seen him live, James?
Many.
now. So they were
Many.
just here this weekend, you know.
Huge.
Were you there?
With Michael W. Smith.
Yeah.
No, I
Friends
was
Are
not
Friends
there.
Forever.
Oh!
Tennessee Christmas.
Tennessee Christmas, the best.
She
I
played
remember
the
you posting that
hits.
last year.
That is
What's the other
real.
one? God
I
damn
love
it.
Love Will Find a Way.
Christmas song.
Oh, I have no idea. I don't like Christmas music or Christmas, but I love Amy Grant. And Michael W. Smith
Anyway,
is like
having a brain
definitely. He was like
So
major CCM boners.
yes, big time.
Yeah.
Yeah, big old chin too.
Oh,
Yes,
Amy!
baby,
I
baby.
hear her.
One of the guys I represent, Travis Ball,
Uh-huh.
he's a mix engineer from Nashville, and he toured with Michael W. Smith. He just got off the road with him last month,
Hot.
all through Canada. He was the front of house
Canada.
mixer for him. So
Yeah,
he's got
but
some
I've
stories.
never met Michael W. Smith, but I did attend the church that Amy Grant goes to in Nashville.
Nashville.
A little bit as a child when we would visit the Belmont Church of Christ.
Love it.
I loved her. She was the first fallen
She's
angel
gorgeous,
that I
too.
like loved, and our church
Oh.
was like, "Don't listen to her."
Because she went secular.
Yeah, but it's like a song about her actual baby, you
Fucking
guys.
cunt.
Like
Yeah.
she had a baby. Let her sing a song to her baby.
Was it really?
Yeah.
Dude, this is like so my childhood.
She's dressed fantastic in this video, like no lie. I love
Oh, yeah.
her. Like if my friends would just dress like Amy Grant during this era, I would feel like they would wind up
Well,
on all
I
best
came in
dresses.
here with
I'll
a denim
work on
jacket.
it.
Did you notice that?
I mean, I feel like you're a little bit Amy
I'm a little
Grant.
Amy.
You know
I'm a
what? You're a
little
little
Amy.
Stephen Curtis Chapman, if I'm being real.
There you go.
I'll go to the store right now and buy that outfit.
Yeah.
Please.
I'm kind of like old timey conservative appearing at points, but I'm very not. I'm very liberal.
I don't get
and-
that vibe from you.
Oh, okay.
I've never seen you as dressing conservative.
Oh, jeez, that just goes out the window.
I mean, it's an interesting
I'm wearing boots. Does
perception.
that help? I have an American.
Those aren't
flag in my
boots. Those
hat.
are hipster
Those
boots.
are not boots.
I know.
Those
They-
are like
he- Logan agrees.
high
$300
tops.
fashion boots.
Yeah, those don't look like boots.
God damn.
Is that how much you spent on this?
Yeah, they're like
That's a
$270.
deal.
You know how much?
Dude, for
I've
these
told you what I got my
heritage
leather
shoes?
ones for, right?
Yeah, those are ridiculous shoes, and we need to talk about them.
Yeah, we talk about them almost every episode. I think
Goddamn elf shoes, and I love them,
I think
and I
those
love
are
you for
good.
wearing them.
$8 full leather.
That's badass, man. Did you get them? They're like China.
They're from China.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yep.
Well,
They're like China, is what I just said. And everyone agreed
they
with me.
are.
Yep.
In fact, they are China.
They
Just
are.
like China.
They embody everything that is China.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
shout out to Amy Grant.
I
Hashtag
love you,
Amy Grant.
Amy,
She's the best. God damn it.
or at least
I'm gonna
pretty
blast her.
good.
She's fairly good. Vanilla. Dude, her song Hats is absurd.
Hats.
Did you know which one I mean?
I don't think I know that
One
one.
day I'm a mother, next
Oh,
day
yes.
I'm a
No,
lover.
I do know that
what
one.
am I supposed to do? Hats.
I really like her old work, like
Oh,
Grape,
so bad.
Grape Joy. I got
Okay,
a
I
Grape,
don't-
Grape Joy and Jesus in the Vineyard of the Lord. Like,
Okay,
she
so you're
was
going way
super
back.
corny.
Super
I
Christian.
loved it.
Is that a
It was-
wine reference? Is that what
Yeah,
that is? It's gotta
exactly.
be.
Jesus.
Jesus-y,
juice.
yeah.
I found
Jesus-y.
Jesus in wine. Is that?
I love her. I also loved Steve Taylor.
El Shaddai. That was the song I was trying to
El
pull from.
Shaddai.
El Shaddai.
Yeah.
Something,
Some other stuff I'm
something,
not
I
gonna
don't
try
know
to
the
say, but
words.
yeah, it's like real holy words.
I love Tennessee Christmas.
I
Gorgeous
don't,
song.
But I like Friends or Friends Forever if the Lord's the Lord of them.
I thought
I'm
you
into
liked
that
Tennessee
crap.
Christmas.
No, I don't like any Christmas music. I just was telling you what she played this weekend.
Oh,
I was trying to be supportive because you were so
okay.
excited.
I'm so excited.
I
like
like
some
my
Christmas
Amy
music.
Grant like Love Will Find a Way era. Stay for a while. Stay for a while is a perfect song.
Are you a Dolly Parton fan?
Yeah, I like Dolly.
Jolene, I mean, it's
I guess.
classic shit.
I don't know. It wasn't Christian enough for me to listen to as a kid.
I think you'd like some Dolly. I'm gonna send you some Dolly.
I do like Dolly, but I don't like no Dolly.
Gotcha. Fair
Who's Dolly?
enough. Something about boobs.
This is terrible.
Yeah, that's,
Look at her
that
outfit
is
again.
terrible.
Amy Grant's outfit.
We're
on point.
watching Amy
She's
Grant
got like a
perform.
weird braid.
And a lot of shoulder pads back then.
She looks fantastic.
It's the '80s.
And she's smoking.
Yeah, she is.
Yeah,
I love her.
I love it. That's my style girl too.
Same, I guess.
Kinda-
It's really doing it for me. 80s Amy.
80s,
Hashtag Amy's 80. Can we
kind of
start
Jewish
it?
Yeah,
looking
1983,
almost.
yeah, exact.
She's definitely
Love
got
it.
a particular look. She's like, I'm gonna sing by these plants.
Yeah, on a fake staircase.
Build me a golden staircase to a bunch of fake plants.
The
You got
orange
it.
wall behind me.
I'd like my hair to be full on the sides and completely wet and flat looking on top. Just kidding, Ames. You look fabulous.
Oh man.
She's also got baseball diamonds for earrings.
Yeah, she
I
sure
support
does.
that. And I do
Yeah.
like how she's done her
It's a real
eyebrows.
sport.
She's not afraid of a real serious brow.
Real serious brow. Something, something.
Be careful. Like, those are holy words, girl.
Is that Hebrew? I would imagine.
It's something.
It's something holy, holy-ish.
It's too holy for me.
All right, enough of the goddamn
Thank
immigrant.
you. Too much
Jesus.
holy. Too much holy.
Jesus
Come on,
Christ.
keep it on.
All right, moving on. What else?
We
you
did
got?
I
enough
like that
holy
you
in the
went from
bathroom.
Charles Manson to Amy
All right.
Grant.
That's how we roll here, man.
Not even a split
This
second.
is sad.
Next up in
Oh.
investigations, we got
Okay,
Charlie Rose on.
But this is not breaking
Alright.
news. Have you ever, like, do you watch John Oliver's show Last Week Tonight?
Sometimes,
Yeah.
yeah.
He does those super clips of this guy, Charlie Rose,
know,
being
being
a
creepy.
creep with his co-host. I just think, like, for whatever reason, people are paying attention now. He's an actual creep. Not everybody is an actual creep. This guy is an actual creep.
See, this bums me out though, Logan, because
Fuck him.
I'm
He
a
sucks.
fan of Charlie Rose.
Oh, you are?
Yeah, his soft Southern drawl and his
I
his
bet if
demeanor.
you were a young lady, he'd be a fan of you, too.
yeah, touche.
A young Southern lady, or does
Yeah,
I
but-
don't know.
no.
I think it's okay to let white guys who suck just, like, get found
Fucking-
out. It's actually okay even if you're not white. I don't know why I made that distinction. I guess I'm just kind of especially over white guys right now.
That's what you're saying. No. I mean, look, all of the accused folks have been male and white, right, so far?
No, I mean, like, Bill Cosby.
Oh yeah, you're right.
That was
He
kind of a big
really
deal.
fucked up a lot of people.
And I don't think it's
But that was
straight
prior
males
to this whole.
necessarily.
That was prior to this whole.
It is, but how far
tornado.
back should we go?
Exactly.
I just think,
Yep.
like, if
Yeah.
you're going to do it, like, call out the real creeps. There's probably going to be a pendulous swing where
Al
everybody
Franken.
gets sucked up into it. And in the end, the real creeps will, you
Yeah.
know, get shaken out.
Yeah, we were talking about this on the break. I agree. It comes from a good place, and yeah, like you said, it'll shake itself out, and the real creeps will be found.
Yeah.
And those who are innocent, hopefully, will be found innocent.
Yeah. And also, it's a good
You know.
message to everybody to like stop masturbating into plants unless you have people's permission.
Yeah, it's not that hard, guys.
You just say,
Or maybe it
"Can
is that hard,
I?"
and I had to jack off. Am I right, guys?
Uh-oh,
High five.
no,
Nope,
spill that scene.
No one. No. Okay.
I don't want a
God
high
damn
five,
it.
but I
God
do
damn
think if your thing is, jerking it in front of people, like find somebody who wants that.
Right.
There's plenty of
There's-
people who would want that,
Amen.
and
It's all about
there's plenty
consent.
of people who don't.
That's right.
Yeah,
Yes.
I'm not one of those people. I'll just jack off into all my plants.
Just do it. Come on over.
Everybody's invited to my house.
Jack off in my plants.
That's what plants are for.
Yeah, what a weird thing to want to do, by the way.
You know what? No shame, to each their own. If you have permission and it's your plant, jack it.
Jack it.
But it is not my thing.
No, it's probably more like I just want to masturbate right now, and this plant looks like the only thing that's disposable enough.
That's I
to
think
where
what
I
it
guess-
is. It's not the plant.
This seems
have
like
to
it would
come
not
into something.
inconvenience the host.
Yeah.
Okay.
Doesn't
Right.
seem like the best idea.
Yeah, Al Franken's a bummer too, because he's funny and stuff and whatever. But
I still feel like I want to believe people who are survivors. I want to believe people who have had an experience, and then I want the actual system to work, right? Like I
Due
don't know that I
process.
believe that it does, but I'm gonna sort of watch it play out
Agreed.
and believe
Yeah,
people.
yeah, we can't have a a public what do they call that? Like a witch hunt or a jury by the crowd. The court system exists for a reason. And
Yeah.
If you're really guilty, then like go through the process to find that.
Yeah, and I think that'll happen.
Does that make sense? Yeah.
It does make sense. So one of my mentors was Gian Gomeshi, who's a Canadian
Oh yeah.
CBC
Right, and he
guy.
had
I actually
issues,
was
yes.
really instrumental in bringing him to America. Like we were doing a whole bunch of stuff. I brought him to Portland.
Big radio
and
show.
He turned out to be a fucking monster.
creep.
Right.
Like,
and I
bad.
didn't know that. And I had to do a whole
Like,
bunch
hit
of apologizing
women and stuff, right?
for bringing. Yeah, no, he was terrible.
Terrible.
And it was way beyond sex. It was violence. And,
Yes.
and so, I was his friend, and it was awful. It was awful. And also, I publicly disavowed him. I deleted him from my phone. I let go of all feelings about him.
Right.
Because he had hurt people. It doesn't matter that I knew him as a good guy. He actually hurt people, and therefore we're not going to be connected anymore. So
Right.
I think stuff
Right.
like that eventually shakes out, and people's initial reaction is you want to protect your friends, and I think that's where we're wrong, right? Like, let's listen to people, and things will shake out. If he had been innocent, it would have been
We
a
would have
different
known.
story.
Well, that's my concern. Is like with all
Agreed.
it, for lack of a better term, it seems to be. It could be in like seen as a trend now for some people.
Well, I think
Well,
people
that's
have
what Logan was saying.
permission to say it out
Yeah.
loud, which is good. I want to support.
But there might be
that.
there might be a lot of people who are accusing when there's no actual.
I think we'll see.
That's just my concern. Though.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
I think I do think sometimes that there's a small percentage of people who accuse folks of sexual violence that it's not true. I think what's probably happening right now is we're in need of a cultural definition of what's proper, what's improper.
Oh, I
in some
agree.
ways, right?
I feel like this has been happening for years, but it just was never
has.
okay to
Yeah,
talk
and
about.
also there's a flood
Yeah.
because people feel permission.
I'm just afraid of
God.
when the pendulum, as you were saying during the break, is going to shift, and there's going to be a lot of accusations that aren't actually true, and
I
it's going to
hope that
ruin a lot of
doesn't
careers.
Happen. I don't
So
know
do
that
I.
that will
Yeah,
happen.
yeah.
I don't. I don't think it's happened yet, and I hope it doesn't. But in the end, good or bad, people who are guilty of sexual violence will pay for that. It's like
yeah.
a Visa card.
That's the whole idea. That's the goal.
totally.
And I'm really happy that all these people are feeling comfortable to come forward now.
yeah.
Because like I said back, this was just what happened,
For
and they didn't
sure.
say anything about it.
It's a
but-
culture reset, and in comedy too, right? Like if you think about stand-up comedy culture, there's a lot to wrestle with there. It's like at one moment you're on stage getting applauded for saying something, and then you step off the stage, you say the very same thing, and you're actually in trouble, right? And so where that line gets blurred between performance and reality, I think is where people are needing to really land right now.
Yeah, and I feel like back in the day, that line was a lot more skewed.
Yeah.
And like people like because when you're a stand-up comedian, you're a nobody, and then all of a sudden an overnight success, so to speak. I would assume it's really tough for these people to kind of find that fine line, and I'm sure they overstepped the bounds. Are they bad people? I don't know. Are
Well,
they
it's
good
I
people?
believe in good people and bad people.
Right. I
don't
think people do bad things.
Yeah,
and it
and like are
doesn't-
struggling, and you learn from your mistakes. I hope we have enough space in the culture for people to make mistakes and apologize. I've
Agreed.
watching,
I'm worried we don't.
Like
That's my
Louis
thing,
C.K.'s
yeah.
I think
response.
it's possible that we don't right now.
Yeah, I was gonna say. yeah.
It's not good what he did. Obviously, it's fucking horrific. But
Yeah.
his response, I guess, is maybe as good as it could be. And what he did was like, I'm gonna peace out for a while. I've done a lot
He
of. I've been able
acknowledged
to.
that it was true,
and I like
then
that's right. He
stepped
said it's
back,
true.
right?
What I did was wrong. And I've spent my whole life being able to say whatever I want to say. Now it's
Yeah.
time for me to step back and listen.
Totally.
Peace. And you haven't heard
I
from
do
him
not
since.
think the world is full of people that are dying to tell lies about the sexual trauma they've experienced.
Agreed.
I really don't.
It might be the very small.
It's 3%
3%.
statistically, right?
Is that
like,
right?
Like that's the statistic.
Wow.
There's 3% of reported rapes that are false.
Imagine being raped or sexually abused in any capacity
Yeah.
and feeling like you couldn't say anything.
Well, that's what everybody feels.
Well,
like.
that's what has been happening until
Right.
now.
Horrific.
Yeah. It's
I mean,
People,
you-
people,
you can
yeah,
speak on
people
that.
are. I feel like are finally having the courage to come forward,
for sure.
and I commend that.
Me
for sure.
too. And I think we have to wrestle in the culture with what we think is appropriate as far as content, as far as like behavior, and I think we're coming to a place now where thankfully we all agree that some things are really not okay.
Yeah.
Finally,
It will get weird though. It's going to be weird for a while.
Yeah.
Right.
I think just like civil rights are weird still and have been for 50 some years.
But at least
Somehow.
to bring it back, the pendulum is at least swinging the other way now.
Yeah, we're in
I
motion.
understand.
That pendulum is in
Right.
motion. So.
Thank God. Yeah,
thank
I
God.
mean, I don't know what's been going on in Hollywood and New York and all that stuff, but it sounds like some
not
shit's been going
good.
down.
Not good.
Yeah.
No, and I
Ugh.
mean, if you think about power, Hollywood is not the only place where power exists because this is a power thing, right? Like
Right.
it's like a powerful
Politics.
well, yes, politics will be next, and then real people in the real world. So
Yeah.
I think it'll be a while before people stop talking about it, and I hope they never do. I hope we always talk about it, and I hope people feel more clarity at some point.
Agreed.
Yeah, yeah.
Love it.
Clarity is a good word. I feel like people, because like the Weinstein thing, all this stuff, like I said, that was just kind of the way it was. It was written into his contract.
He tried to destroy people's lives, and he's a special case. I hate him. He also fired me from my own reality TV show, so
Oh.
I have a personal stake in why I think he's an asshole. But
My point being was
Yeah.
that him sexually abusing people was just kind of like, oh, this is what happens in Hollywood. Deal
Right.
with it. You want to be successful? Go for
totally.
But
And he
now-
had
now
permission
that's
to do that
changing.
somehow. And
It's
that's the part
changing
that
now.
needs to change. His whole thing where he like hired private investigators and people to like destroy people's lives who he had attacked after he attacked
Ugh.
them. Is
I haven't
so
heard,
intense.
I haven't heard about that.
Yeah,
Wait,
no, it's
Louis?
so intense. No, not
Oh,
Louis.
sorry. I'm sorry.
Man, you check your phone for 1 second.
I-
We're on to the next celebrity.
To be fair, I was posting about you. So
Good. You should keep doing that, and I will keep bringing you along.
But yes, quick summary. What is this personal investigator stuff with Weinstein?
Oh, Weinstein.
So
Ugh.
there's a whole New Yorker article.
I heard about that, yeah.
Ronan Farrow is
I
on
haven't.
his ass like nobody else, which is awesome. But he, after he raped or assaulted someone, would go through Hollywood and tell people not to work with those people. He would plant bad stories. He would
Yeah.
hire private investigators to find out who they'd been sleeping with and any kind of drug activity. Like he got their dirt
'Cause he
and then
could.
he would manipulate them so that they wouldn't tell.
Yeah.
That is high level, masterful villain shit.
Yeah,
right?
and I feel like that's the shit that's becoming exposed
Well,
now.
and then
It's
so
good.
that's like
Which is good, yeah.
high level villain type masterful shit.
But he could get away with it. That's
But-
what's so fucked
But
up.
what I was
is,
gonna
like,
say is then there's like the other level of like the Louis stuff where a woman came out recently saying that she had an experience with him on a set of a TV show, and she was a struggling actress / comedian, and she was so happy to be part of the cast, just as anyone would.
Sure.
And Louis C.K., you know, and especially then, like everyone looked up to him. And anyway, he apparently came up to her and basically said, "Hey, do you mind if I go jack off in front of you?" And like he was super creepy and kind of touched her and
Sure.
real creepy about it. And at the time, she was just like shell shocked and didn't know what to say, so she didn't say anything.
Yeah.
And she was like, and at the time, if I had said something, it would have stopped production.
Yeah.
So know that we would have stopped filming that day.
Right.
If I would have been the reason we stopped production,
Sure.
this multi-million-dollar production,
Yeah.
I would have been the lame ass that stopped it because I was little creeped out.
Right.
And and she felt like she just had zero place to go to.
Yeah.
That,
she
that
did.
was my point.
Yep.
Well, you want to get ahead.
crazy.
You are a struggling actor or musician or someone in any industry that wants to get ahead. It's not ever popular to call out the bad behavior of your superiors, right? That's why power
At least not
differentials-
to date.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know that it'll ever be popular, because you're always like going to be knocking somebody down.
Well, my
But some
point being
people
is
should
that
be.
these people in power will no longer. They will feel the fear of
I
doing
hope
it because they'll
so.
get exposed.
I hope so.
Yeah.
It's people will always be corrupt, and power will always corrupt people. Money will always corrupt people. But I do think that the world is full of good men and good people.
Overwhelmingly,
who are
I'd say.
not trying to fuck people over. I mean, I really,
Yeah,
as
I agree.
I'm a rape survivor. I'm a trauma survivor, and I don't walk around feeling like the world's out to get me. I think that there are people who are probably, and good day to you. But I also have a lot of power and agency myself in the world, and so I can see if I were a person who didn't, that becomes even harder, right? Like it's a struggle for me to stand up and say who I am, or to stand up and speak truth to power. And I have a lot of power. Like I
Yeah,
actually
right.
have resources.
You have a
I'm not in
pedestal to stand
danger.
on.
Like I have a public platform where I can send an email out to 150,000 people. And so I can imagine that if you feel disenfranchised already, that is harder. It's harder to come forward.
Sure. Yeah. I couldn't imagine.
Hopefully, they're feeling more comfortable now.
I hope so.
Me too.
No.
Ugh. No good. Got any other stories there, Drewski? Drewski?
All right. I guess geologists keep finding more Northwest earthquake faults.
Oh,
File under, we're all gonna die.
Now,
I
whose
love that
fault
you're, like,
is
picking
that?
Really happy topics. There's
Well,
also a weird
that's
looking
terrifying.
turkey next to that, which is disturbing on this website.
So-
So did you watch that movie with The Rock about this?
No.
San Andreas?
The San
Yeah,
Andreas.
San Andreas.
It's a documentary right here, Logan.
Yeah, it's the best documentary since that one with Cher and Christina Aguilera about the burlesque club.
Moulin Rouge, if I'm not mistaken,
It
right?
actually, I believe, was called Burlesque.
Oh,
But Moulin
I'm
Rouge
thinking of the wrong
was so
documentary,
good.
sorry.
I know, that was an earlier one that had a few other ladies in it. That one was also good. Anyway, this thing is gonna kill us all. So I've been buying survival kits.
Yeah.
And I have one in my car, I have one at the office, I have one at my house.
Oh yeah, I'm all about that.
Oh
shit.
yeah,
Earthquake?
burlesque.
Earthquake
There it
kit?
is. Yeah, earthquake.
Yeah, I
It has
got
everything there.
water
What comes in an
$175.
earthquake kit?
There's everything, man. There's food. I get the one for 2 in case I have somebody with me.
Right.
But you have food for 30 days.
I love that you
have
do that.
I mean, I'm
I do too.
paranoid. I
Me
can't
too.
control it.
Dude, I carry a
grew up in
tourniquet everywhere I go.
Nebraska, and I had to several times pull over on the road and get up under the freeway because of a tornado. So everywhere you are, there's danger.
Everywhere I go, I got fucking pocket knives and
Where are you
flashlights and band-aids. And
Oh, you're gonna
I'm
really
a EMT.
You're ready. You're ready.
So wait, yeah. Well, so
I'm
there's
kind
food.
of a prepper without being a
So
prepper.
these kits have food. I mean, what would be in a kit that would help you from an earthquake?
No, it's after.
Oh, it's for-
Oh, no,
It's
you're gonna-
not like you have a helmet in there. You're gonna die.
Well, that's what I was
But
curious
if you
about. I
Don't
was
die,
like-
you want to make sure you can pee somewhere and that you have food.
Put on your
and-
PPE.
So there's a pee bag.
Well, there's places that you can go.
Okay,
You should
okay.
probably buy buckets from Home Depot, those big.
Yeah, that's what I have.
buckets.
That's not included in the kit.
They're like
No, I have
72
that
hour
too at my
buckets.
house, but
Okay.
not in my car. I'm not gonna be like, "Hey, everybody, poop in my bucket." But it's not gonna be good, man. I know that that's not a documentary, but I have seen enough to know that my loft. This is a little tangential. In Portland, my loft is on 25th and Burnside-ish. And yeah, don't come find me, or do. It's fine. It's on lockdown, but it liquefies. When you look at the what happens
Oh, yeah.
map, it liquefies, which I guess means that the river and all of that just turns into
It just
mush.
crumbles. It crumbles.
Yeah.
Have you ever been in an earthquake? Anyone here?
I have.
I've,
yeah.
s-
I've
I've
been in
slept through
two.
every
I've been in a
earthquake
big
we've
one
ever had.
in California.
I was in a big
90s.
one in San Francisco, and
They
then I was
suck.
in the Seattle one.
It's terrifying.
It's really scary, but you know what sucks worse? Tornadoes.
Oh, ugh.
I am not a fan. Like that's
you grow up with that?
Oh yeah, much
Really?
much worse. And
Terrifying.
so, yeah, and then you have nothing. Like at least with earthquake,
go
it's
anywhere.
like eventually it stops.
Ugh.
Like tornado, you're just gonna like get
Just hope it
it's just,
doesn't
like,
hit me.
pelted with something if you're lucky.
It's just
So,
Russian roulette.
Yeah, it's
Are they
terrible.
worse?
Terrible.
Are they worse?
For me, because of all the trauma of growing up with tornadoes, I prefer earthquakes.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
I do think there's an element of having nowhere to go with earthquakes that is kind of weird.
Well, and earthquakes also is based on like the society you live in. Like if you live in rural fucking poverty South America, you're fucked. But if you
Right.
live in Western society where like
Look
there's
at that.
building codes and
I'm retrofitted.
seismic buildings,
I
then-
think it'll be fine. I think all my sculptures will break and my TVs will fall, and I'll be like, but it'll be fine.
yeah, it's terrifying.
That my TVs
Look at this.
will
Look
fall.
at these videos.
No.
No, sorry, these videos.
Yeah, because I mean, an earthquake it affects an entire landmass as opposed to a tornado has
If we had
a
an
couple
earthquake right now,
I don't know.
I would shit my pants.
I would hope that you have vegan something for me to eat because I didn't. Bring
One of my
no.
roommates is vegan. So
Good. I'm gonna
yeah,
be like,
there's
who
vegan
should I be
food.
friends with besides the dog?
I'm killing your fucking dogs, Neil. We got an
Oh
earthquake.
no!
I don't own any
First-
dogs,
I
but-
loved that dog, but,
but
I don't,
Mosby is my
It's like a
miniature
2-point
pony.
earthquake.
So if
Yeah.
you kill
Yeah.
Mosby,
don't take away his self-care plan.
yeah, exactly.
I wouldn't
I
do
think that the earthquake itself will probably be fine, but like the fact that none of us will have power or water for 3 months is going to be complicated,
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
and we won't be able to get across the bridge.
Look what happened like on the East Coast with the Hurricane
bridges.
Sandy.
I mean, the
Hurricane
river.
Sandy.
We won't be able to cross to the river.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, if the power goes out for more than a couple days, people start losing their fucking mind.
I
That's
mean, mine's
crazy.
already gone, so it's not going to take
Crazy.
me 2 days. I do have enough candles
Terrifying.
and wind-up flashlights that it'll be
Yeah,
fine.
me too.
But
For-
I'll be all alone, and it'll just be me and my canned goods. I bet the stairs will go at my house. I'll just be stuck up in this loft, just like singing and eating canned goods.
It's not a bad way to go.
It's actually kind of describing my regular life. Also.
Right.
Just with everyone else.
Well, for
being
me, if the
dark.
power went out, I wouldn't have a job. So,
Right, but nobody's
Yeah.
going to have a job because we're all going to be stuck. There's going
well,
be
the rest
no
of the country is still
infrastructure.
going to want shit done.
That's true, but you're going to have to go there
Yeah.
to do it. And I don't know how they're
Yeah.
going to get you out here because the airport's not going to work.
Exactly. Yeah. But we're supposed to have that 10-point giant earthquake.
I know we're
thing.
supposed to have something.
We're,
We're
like, so
250 years late for it.
Ugh,
Yeah.
Don't say that.
Any
Why
minute
did
now.
you make this a topic if you don't want to
I
talk
didn't.
about it?
I didn't.
Oh,
Andrew did.
Andrew.
He leads this segment, not me.
Andrew, can you find something happy?
God damn it.
I will say I've been looking up and doing a lot of like learning about the Forbidden City in China. Those things can withstand earthquakes.
What are they?
The Forbidden City in China, it's in Beijing.
I don't know what that is.
Yeah, I don't know
Oh.
what that is either. That
Wait,
sounds awesome.
it
though.
was-
Talk
was-
to our
it was-
listeners about it.
It was built in the early 1400s, I think, if I'm not mistaken. But no, it's like out of all the earthquakes that have ever happened in China, it is the only they're the only buildings that have withstood the earthquakes.
Wow.
And they studied the architecture. They did a whole documentary on it. But
Oh shit.
they built a replica inside of a laboratory, and they did a 10.2 earthquake,
Whoa.
and the things didn't fall.
They're like ancient
me up.
buildings.
Yeah, ancient.
Whoa.
Yeah, like
Wonder why.
what Ming
Well,
Dynasty, I think.
ancient aliens, you guys. Don't you watch that shit?
I know.
That is real. Have you ever
The
thought about
pyramids
how
and
the
shit?
Well,
pyramids
they're
are built?
they're all built of wood too.
By people, Logan.
No, aliens. You don't even have technology now. Like they try to recreate it. You like can't.
So the Forbidden City they actually can recreate. It's all just wooden
Fine, that
structures.
was made by men then.
The pyramids, however, they don't know.
The Louis C.K. bit about how the pyramids were made. Do you remember that, Drew?
No, I've forgotten every Louis C.K. joke.
Come on, it is pretty fun.
Nope, he's dead to us.
He's like
There was never anything funny.
slaves were how they were built. It's like you can do anything if you just throw misery and suffering at it.
No, I don't even think that's real. I think you need aliens for that shit to work. Like, do you watch Ancient Aliens?
I
sure
watch it
don't.
all the
You
time.
should.
I watch
It's
it all the
I don't
time.
smoke pot
fucking
anymore.
real. You don't have to smoke pot to watch Ancient Aliens. Everybody watches it. It's so good. And
I'll
it
check
is
it
the
out.
one thing that makes any sense. All of those Bible stories, all of the the Quran, all of it.
Yeah,
is
Rogan-
I agree.
alien shit.
I
Rogan
agree
always
with
talks about that.
I agree with Logan on this one.
Yeah, I don't.
There-
disagree.
there- are-
Everything else I've said.
There are a few things on there where I'm like,
the
this
alien
is fucking bullshit, but
Well, yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, it's like each
That
season
sounds
is 13
awesome.
hours. It's been on for 12 seasons. Some of it's gonna be bad.
Oh, yeah.
but
There's
like
that-
a
that
lot of it.
that
where
guy.
Look at that guy.
that guy, the
Right,
crazy Greek
anybody
guy.
with hair like this man
By the
has
way-
met an alien.
Everything is a choice, right? Like the way you dress today is a choice. Why I dress is a choice.
My homosexuality, for instance. Sorry.
That guy. That's
Bow,
a
bow,
choice
bow.
to walk out of the house with that hair.
I mean, I guess. But
He
if
probably
he's
doesn't
been
pay attention.
He
He's-
might
he-
have hair like that too. He
I
believes
see.
so intensely that it's real.
Yeah, he's focused on other things.
He's an
besides
ancient
So
hair.
does Tom
alien
DeLonge from
theorist.
Blink 182.
Oh,
Have you heard
really?
about
Does
that?
he watch it too?
No, he's obsessed with that. I'm sure he does.
But it's the truth. How
He's
did
obsessed
those
with aliens.
rocks get there? Stonehenge. Explain.
I don't,
I'm saying you can't.
I don't know.
There's some interesting theories that I do think make more sense than what
Holies and
we've
levers.
done.
I don't know.
Way more sense than the
Yep.
Bible. Way more sense than
Yep.
science is aliens. Ancient.
We
The
could-
Bible's outrageous.
We could have 4,000 podcasts on the
Two
Bible, by the
animals
way.
on a. Oh yeah.
But it
Yeah.
it goes like the raw, the Egyptian
right.
cultural.
same.
I believe
it's the same story
I-
regurgitated.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
don't believe in any of that other crap, but I think this is
crazy.
possible.
I
Yeah.
think it's possible.
It's possible.
I think
Of
just
course,
because
everything's possible.
just
Well, not
because we
everything, but-
found a rock that we dated to X amount of years doesn't mean that the rock was actually put there X amount of
Sure.
years.
Seriously.
It's like I
feel
mean
that way about every rock I've dated.
I feel like there's probably thousands, if not millions, of years of civilization before what we think is a
Have you
thing.
seen
You
Battlestar
just pull open
Galactica?
the rock on Google.
I know.
AC's comedy is so high level.
Yeah, it's because no one can hear his comedy. That's
But
why
like,
it's so good.
It's so good. I wish you had. This should be the video you play as like a live stream of his Google.
Dwayne Johnson.
It's so good.
That's the name of this
What is that
episode.
picture?
We should make the name of this episode Dwayne
It's
Johnson.
probably for fucking Baywatch or some shit.
He's
Oh.
on Baywatch.
The
That new
movie.
Oh, I want to
Baywatch.
see that.
I saw it, guys.
Look how hot he is
course you
there
did.
as a wrestler. I mean,
Ugh.
that is a good look. Also, he's an excellent actor. I know that we started on a rock earthquake movie, and now we've landed here again after Ancient Aliens. But that
comes
earthquake
back
movie
around.
is stellar. I believe that his daughter is in danger the whole time, and I believe that he can hold his breath underwater that whole time.
Look at that goddamn fucking picture.
I love him.
What is he like? What does he play in it? It's like
He's
a
like, of
fireman or
course, like
something?
a divorced pilot who works too much, but he just happens to have the last working helicopter.
Sure.
And the best body
Sure.
on the beach.
And the
I
best
know.
spot on the
If you're
beach.
into that sort of thing, he's a
Andrew.
little hairless
Very
for my
smart.
taste, but I
Andrew.
can see that
Interesting,
That's a good thing.
interesting,
Oh, that's
okay.
his daughter.
She is hot.
She's
as
about
fuck.
to drown, and she's dead for like a minute, but he brings her back. Spoiler alert.
Wait,
Yeah,
is it
spoiler
his
alert, too
actual
late.
daughter or is it just the movie?
I'm sure because everything in movies is real. It's a
Right.
documentary.
Exactly. That was my point, yeah.
Look how he looks at his daughter, though. I hope
That's
not
super
real.
intense. Oh. Live.
Oh, look at that gaping gash on her shoulder, too.
Oh, poor thing
no.
got a boo boo. I want him to hold me like that just one afternoon.
He's a large man.
Yeah,
How
that's what
large
I'm
is he?
saying. I'm 6'4", and I think he's definitely taller than me.
Yeah,
Oh, damn.
and fucking ripped.
What are you trying to say
Roided
that I'm
out.
not? I've got a lot of mass under
Compared
this
to The Rock,
sweater.
sorry.
It's fat mass. Amazing. Paul Giamatti's in it.
6'5".
He
6'5".
is?
He's a full inch taller than me.
He's 45.
Yeah,
Good
which is
lord, he looks good for 45.
Thank you.
Fuck me.
Appreciate that.
All right. Have you seen this documentary, the Jim and Andy?
No.
No, I
Jim
want
Carrey?
to.
I saw like the first like 20 minutes or so. It's
Brendan
fucking
Shaw was
crazy.
talking about that. Fighting the Kid.
I'm gonna go see Disney's
We'll check it
Pixar
out.
Coco tomorrow for Thanksgiving though.
Nice.
There's an ad for Coco.
Adorable.
Look at his beard.
This is about how he became
Yeah,
Andy
like on
Kaufman,
set
right?
like 24
Yeah,
hours.
Right.
It's fucking
Like
crazy.
super method.
Yeah,
turn that shit up,
it's
brother.
Like nutty.
He kind of bums me out. I like Andy Kaufman. I don't feel the same way about Jim Carrey. Really? Do you guys just watch stuff while people listen? Oh. Amazing.
Universal didn't want the footage we took behind the scenes to surface so that people wouldn't think I was an asshole.
Oh God.
Oh, that's right.
How far would Andy take it?
That looks awesome.
I'm gonna
Yeah,
watch it,
super
but begrudgingly.
intense. Super intense.
I like Andy Kaufman. You think you don't like Andy?
No, I respect the shit out of what he did. I definitely I like that. It just there's something about like there's a few kind of comedians that type of like abrasive thing I have a hard
Yeah.
time with.
Okay.
Like what's the guy from like the late 80s that just fucking yelled? He always wore like a beret, like a black leather coat.
Andrew Dice Clay?
Not Andrew Dice Clay. That era
I don't
though.
remember
Eddie
him in a
Murphy?
beret.
God, what's his
Prince.
name? I don't. Name is escaping me, but
Well,
anyway, that kind of like
Not for everybody.
confrontational.
comedy.
But yeah, no, like again, genius level stuff. I'm not taking anything away from what he did.
I'm
It's
sure
just,
he
I don't know.
doesn't
It's just not my
mind.
style. It's not my style.
But Jim Carrey is. Even after The Mask and that one where he heard God, and also
No, I don't like everything he did for sure.
Oh,
Like
okay.
Eternal Sunshine, I dig.
that was good.
Um,
Also, the one
like,
where he's
Dumb and
stuck in the
Dumber
TV
and that shit.
show.
yeah, I like that Truman Show.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's really smart. Smart.
Are you googling View castmates?
He's just comedians. Yeah, I
Comedians.
forget his fucking name.
Do you see him?
But
Do you see anybody in a beret?
what was his fucking name?
There he is.
Oh my God, Popeye! Oh, Sam
Oh, there it is.
Kinison.
Sam Kennison. There you go. Yeah, funny guy. I know
Yeah.
everyone let him. Like Bill Hicks took what he did and kind of ran with it.
Yeah.
And I love
also,
Bill
who's
Hicks.
the squinty
Love Bill
guy?
Hicks.
Who, he's not
Squinty
mean,
guy.
but there's Gilbert Gottfried.
Oh
Yeah.
God.
I'm
yeah.
not a huge
Yeah,
fan
me
of
neither.
that.
Never been. Cause he just
I
yells.
do like
He's just
Sam
like,
Kinnison's shirt right there, though. That was pretty cute. Like fringe all around.
yeah.
His hair
Bobcat
matches his
Goldthwait.
shirt.
God, he's so
fucking
cool.
Bobcat Goldthwait.
He doesn't have the wet down top.
He
like,
went on to
what's her
direct a
face
bunch
we were
of
listening to.
documentaries and shit.
Bobcat.
Yeah.
Barf.
Bobby Cat. Bobcat was married to Jay Moore's first wife,
Yeah.
as the
Second
point
wife.
out. Oh,
But yeah,
second.
Nikki.
Yes.
Oh, gotcha. I didn't know that. That's right.
I
now I'm
happen to have a lot of information that could be
Yes.
found on Wikipedia. I did see this. This is scary. Robots taking over the world.
Absolutely terrifying. Have you seen the Tesla truck that was just released?
No. does it
Self-driving. We were
do
talking about self-driving
backflips?
cars last time.
Oh, I need that.
Driving truck.
I wanna
Oh my
eat
God.
cereal while I
That is
drive.
insane.
What in the actual fuck? Ah!
A robot
For the
doing a
listeners,
backflip.
we're watching
RoboCop.
a
Oh, look at
fucking
Jiglet's booty.
fully operating robot on
I
Wired.com.
like robot
He did
butts.
kind of twerk at the end
It
there.
was
Didn't you see
totally
that?
twerking. I like robot butts, and I cannot lie.
I like robot butts and I cannot lie.
Also, what's up with your hands, robot?
Terrifying.
You're gonna have a hard time with handles.
Terrifying.
Fuck.
Yeah,
This
Slow
is really
motion.
weird, and I want to make sure there's no strings.
we're all fucked.
I mean, I'm not really afraid of robots. The robots will never be able to do what I can do. They can
Yet.
do everything else better. I don't think the robots can, like, surpass our ability as humans to feel and have empathy. and
Agreed.
Stuff
Agreed.
like that.
Have you seen the show Black Mirror on Netflix?
Yeah, I have.
Love that show. Do you like it?
Yes. I like some episodes.
I just burped.
Oh my god, amazing. Apple pie burp.
that tastes gross.
Ooh, that's loud, Tesla.
Yeah.
What did you ask me?
Black Mirror.
Oh yeah, it depends on the episode. I like that one with the redhead on social media. And I
Oh,
liked
dude,
the game show
right.
one, but sometimes I'm like, nah, I don't care.
Fair enough. Yeah, I mean, there's a few that are a little amiss for me too. Like,
I mean, nothing's perfect.
Yeah, but I really like the one where it's like the husband dies and then she brings him back through like a robot body. Did you see that
Oh,
one?
I don't think I remember.
It's really
that.
sad, actually.
I love it when the husband dies, though. It's my
Or the
favorite
one
story.
where they have little lenses in their eyeballs, little cameras, and they're recording everything.
I don't know that, but that freaks me out. I also
That one's
I freak
freaky as
out about
fuck.
like someday my Google searches being released
Oh
and
my
things like
God.
that. Like I don't want that.
Nope.
But if we're
Sure
headed
don't.
there, we're all in the same kind of trouble. Are you googling
Yeah, we're all
car
fucked.
like how much it costs to have a big truck every
He's
month?
googling the Tesla truck because I was talking about it.
So what was the article though saying that they're aiming on the wrong side?
Oh, I don't know what that was. I was just looking for like video of the actual.
Yeah, they just released
Semi.
it. There's video
Safest truck ever.
of yeah.
Lowest
So-
cost of ownership.
So
No.
what's the wrong side that article was talking about?
Mm,
It still uses fuel.
I don't know.
God, that thing's huge. Why do you want such a big truck? Are they trying to sell that
Yeah,
to regular
that.
people?
No, it's for like deliveries and
Oh,
shit.
okay. That does look pleasing.
Crazy, huh?
Like that's appealing design. It looks Jetsons in future. You'd think that they could connect the front to the back though. If it's so future, like why can't you walk back to your truck? Why is it still two separate things?
Well, it's because depending on the company you're driving for, you have to load different things on.
I guess I don't know how trucking works.
Why does it have to be two different things?
You ever seen those big shipping?
Adorable
You
question.
seen those big shipping boats that have the giant metal containers?
Yeah.
Those are what get loaded onto the back of
Right.
these
No, I
trucks.
got it now. It took me just a little bit to like. get there.
Yeah, that's a cool noise.
Excuse me. Oh, Logan Lynn.
Oh,
did
thanks,
it.
Logan, for fucking
That's
blaring
great.
that into our
That
face.
wasn't even my song. God. Andrew, you made this video.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Drewski, do you have any other headlines to chat about?
FCC proposals back to kill net neutrality.
Can they just
Oh
stop
no!
already?
What is this?
I
I don't
don't
know.
know.
Seems to
enough
come up like
about-
every like 6 months, right?
Like we
Yeah.
should make a decision and stick to it. Either we have net neutrality or we don't.
I don't. I'm gonna be honest.
Yeah, I
I
don't
What is
really
a net
kind of don't
neutrality
really know.
rule?
It just means that the government is allowing certain providers like Comcast and the big boys
Yeah.
to decide what we see, how much, and how much it costs. Right now, everybody's
Instead
on
of the
an
internet
even playing
being
field.
free.
Well, Comcast has
Free
recently put out a cap on internet usage.
Have they?
Do
Can
you use
pay-
Comcast?
I do. I
Oh,
haven't
yeah,
noticed
you
So
were
it.
yeah,
talking about
so
that.
yeah, they
fucked.
only allow a terabyte per month now.
Can you pay to have more?
Yeah, if you want to pay an extra $50 a month to have unlimited, like everybody else has,
I do.
or you can pay what is it, like $12 per gigabyte you go over or something.
Well,
like
that sounds like a terrible deal.
Well, it's because they have a
Comcast.
monopoly. It's the only
Right.
like. Are you fucking kidding me? An internet company is dictating how much internet you're allowed to use before they charge you.
It sounds
Like
like
a cell
you're
phone company?
worked up about net neutrality and it's already happened. It's
Is
gonna
that
get
what this
worse.
is?
Yeah. That's
Okay.
that's it. It's like they control what you see. They charge you more. They could start saying we're gonna do certain apps. So for email usage, you're gonna get charged this. For videos, you get charged this. For other, like they're gonna parcel it out. If you look at there's a
They can go fuck themselves.
Brazil has it. They've lost net neutrality in Brazil, and there was a whole sort of chart showing what it would be like if that happened here. And it's basically like piecemeal. Government can kind of control what messages you see then too. So it's kind of the beginning of like
North Korea shit.
yeah, it's weird.
Yeah, that sounds that sounds a little conspiracy theory, but
it's
like,
sticky. No, it's like legit.
well, yeah, I know in South America there's one dude that owns all cell phone service. He's one of the richest
Christ.
guys in the world. But yeah, I mean, like,
good to be that
I mean, just the fact that internet,
You think the internet?
they're putting a cap on what we're allowed to have
Yeah.
for our internet. Like,
But
does
only
that?
for poor people.
That's no, it's for everybody. It's
No,
Xfinity.
that's the thing.
No,
like
but
that's
that's
the
his
whole
point,
argument is
yeah.
that if you're a rich company, you can pay to have your stuff seen. If you're a startup, you can't. If you're a rich,
I'm not talking about being seen. I'm
individual.
just talking about in general the old like because my whole business relies on uploading and downloading files.
Right.
And now they've capped that at 1 terabyte unless I want to pay an extra
unless you pay
$50 a
more.
month.
So it's what I'm saying is it's an attack on people who have limited resources, and
How
that's
did-
what
It could
they're
be seen
always
that way,
doing.
yeah.
Does Comcast though? I mean, because the internet works by like, and forgive me for my stupidity, but doesn't internet work by literal cables being laid down like through
Right.
the ocean? And
Exactly.
I mean, it doesn't exist in the air. Like it comes from
Right. It's a
somewhere.
thing.
thing.
There's no storage that Xfinity's having to
And a
accommodate
company
for.
has to put the thing out there, and the
It's only about power
servers
and money,
and-
just like everything else.
Yeah,
Honestly, it's really about people in Washington getting paid by these big tech companies to be the ones that get seen. If you're a small startup, you will not get seen. People, if they have to buy bundles, will only buy the bundle for the app that they use most, right? Like if you use Netflix and your app over here is a video streaming software app that isn't in this bundle, you're not going to get your chance.
So it's not a free market. Wouldn't conservatives want that? Isn't that like what?
Well, it's kind of a stretch of what I've been talking about, but yeah, no, what he's saying does
I don't
happen,
know.
in my
I
opinion.
don't know what side is net neutrality a left or right thing?
Well, I mean, if
It's
like
the right that's pushing to have it undone. It was Obama's
Oh, okay, to
rules
have it-
that they're trying to undo.
Gotcha.
Yeah, Obama
Wait,
did this
explain
whole
that?
thing. So there was this whole net neutrality rules happened during Obama's time as our president.
so, can
He
you synopsis what
protected
these?
it.
This is the first time I've heard of net neutrality. Can you synopsis that? for me?
Yeah, so net neutrality is, a free market's a really great way of talking about it. Everybody has
Yeah.
the equal opportunity. So
Right.
if you're Skype, you get seen in the search results, and if you're like some kind of random
Okay.
smaller app, you get seen in the search results.
Right.
If you take that away, the people who have money pay for their search results. Everybody else gets pushed out or decides that you're not even allowed.
Yeah, what did
Comcast
they
can say, I don't like this. You're not allowed to put any gay content on our stuff. And
Right.
that's something that can happen, right?
Right,
Like
right.
That's actually how they start to control what we see as
That's
as
without
public.
neutrality or with?
Without neutrality. With net neutrality,
So
that
basically-
doesn't happen.
Gotcha.
If you
If-
lose net neutrality, you lose the protections that we're seeing what we're Googling.
So if stateside management wanted to be seen at the top of the Google post, you can pay extra money to do that.
But you'll never, ever be able to pay as much as Capitol Records.
Exactly.
That's right.
And so you're fucked.
Gotcha.
Right? Like it to me.
Some could argue that's commerce.
You could, except like at the library, which is really how most of us use the internet, right? It's like really our shared world library.
Especially today with
You don't have it set
phones
up
and-
like that. The library is not set up. Public information shouldn't be set up where rich people get their public information served first and poor
makes sense.
people get to access all of it last. Like it just doesn't make any sense.
Well, I don't see it as
Yeah.
that way. I see it as marketing. Like, and granted, some people have more money than others to market, but that's always how commerce has been. I don't understand why they would think the internet is any different.
Andrew, what do you got on the clock there?
You
Sorry,
should read
interrupt.
more about it, I think, because it's really complicated in that they will shut people out. The regular commerce in America.
Oh, censorship you're talking about. Yeah, I agree with
Like
that.
it's
Censorship,
much more
I agree with.
complicated than
Right.
just
Yeah.
paying for ads. It's that they could pay to have people.
I
not
misunderstood.
on
I
there.
apologize.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know we were talking about censorship.
To move on from current events and the what have yous, I have a few questions for you, Logan.
Yeah.
Logan Lynn. So first of all, since you're doing both of the activism and the nonprofit world,
Yeah.
Keep Oregon Well, where do you see yourself in the immediate future / far from now? I mean, what are you going to focus on, or do you still want to do both? Do you still
Yeah.
want to do the musician guy and that, or
Yeah,
do
it's one thing. I think
Is it both?
I've decided it's all one thing, and so it
Oh, okay.
shows up in different ways, right?
Right.
So if I'm doing TV stuff, I'm showing up in. It's like a vehicle. It's like deciding am I gonna
yeah, because you're acting now.
if I'm gonna be in a boat or a car. I'm still doing my thing that I do. So
What's the name of that show? Just as
Last
a plug.
Meal, yeah. The writers of Search Party, which just had its second season premiere last night.
It looks really fun.
It's hilarious.
Yeah.
It's on TBS, but
Awesome.
they wrote the show, and we're gonna do a second season, filmed this summer.
Cool.
So it's been great, and I released that movie earlier this year. I made a documentary about
Oh, yeah.
some
Yep.
work I had done with churches and getting them to come around to like accepting LGBT people. I don't know that I want to pick. That's a hard question
Yeah,
to
that's
answer because
fair.
I feel
No, I
like
like
I've
that answer,
kind
and
of
what
chosen
I would
not
say.
to pick a side.
It's
or
all-
do, yeah,
it's all
it's
you now.
fluid, and
Right.
it's good for me in that I'm public enough where it would be really complicated to try to be several different people.
Yeah.
I have built a life where I can be myself and show up as this person, and have that kind of work in any setting, or not work at
Fantastic.
all in any setting. It depends on who you are and what you think of me, I guess. I think it's dialed in a way where I like how I'm showing up in the world, and
Yeah.
I feel like my work speaks for itself. So like, with Keep Oregon Well, I have the trademark for Mental Health Matters and Keep Oregon Well and Mental Health Heroes, and so I'm part of this National Building Community Resilience Collaborative. I was just there speaking at the conference this past week
That's what that was.
about
Yeah.
like how do you take this thing to scale. So I've made something magic happen here at home. What would it look like to take the Mental Health Matters community engagement model to other cities and other communities? So I'm working on that.
Right on.
Right now, Trillium Family Services is the backbone organization, but I got recently promoted to Trillium Group, which is like the corporate entity
Right.
that oversees all of it. It's
parent
like
company.
really mumbo jumbo-y, but I eventually at the end of this year, I'm going to spin out Keep Oregon Well and Mental Health Matters into its own organization, which will be
yeah.
great. So there's things like that are happening.
Great.
My record I made with Jay and Glasses comes out next year at some point. Like I said, we're working on trying to figure out what release plans look like specifically for that, but that's going to be a big thing that happens next year. And,
Sweet.
I don't know. Whatever. I try to say yes as much as possible nowadays and no very clearly to things that I know I'm not
Right.
interested in.
Which is equally as important.
That's good.
It's
yeah.
more important.
That's really
because if
Probably
you
more
say
important.
yes to that shit, you don't have time to do the stuff you want to do.
Exactly. Yeah.
Love it.
Something I learned late in my career.
You're early in your career, young man.
Yeah.
As
Later,
am
I learned later than I would have liked.
I know. I like whenever
put
I
it
say
that
I've
way.
been doing this for 20 years, I feel old, and then I'm like, except that you're 38 years old, and that's not fucking old at all.
Right.
Just that you started when
Not
you were
old for the
17.
world, remember?
It's not
Yeah,
old for the
the
world.
world is billions of years
old
old.
for the
It's
earth.
at least thousands, depending
least.
on what you subscribe to.
That's
Let's
a
not get back
conservative
into
guess.
aliens.
Yeah, I was
But
like,
yes.
go back to that.
Yeah.
Okay. This is something that I've never done before, Logan.
Uh-oh.
And I haven't told you guys. We're going to do a new segment.
Okay.
Oh, God.
For now, I'm going to call it Rapid Fire Questions.
Andrew, hand me a beer. I wasn't kidding, Andrew. Hand me a beer.
Andrew's scrolling through
Is this
my
stressing you out, Neil?
Instagram
I just
What
thought
a
it was
hater.
funny to
while
say.
we
Jeez.
do this. Is
Oh my
so
God.
distracting.
What's that?
Watching him scroll my Instagram is distracting.
That's
Nope.
his job.
Thank you, sir.
He's trying to.
I
He's
forget.
trying to
Like I
lull
put out a
you.
lot of
He's
content.
trying to lull you into.
I'm like, oh, it's me.
We're
He knows
trying
how to
get a-
get my attention.
I will say your Instagram is way better than mine.
My Instagram is on fire. Apparently, I had
No,
no
It is.
idea.
By the way, your Twitter. How did you get so many goddamn followers on Twitter?
Dandy Warhols.
Yeah.
And TV. You have a TV show on for 1 year into 26 million homes every week. 50,000 people doesn't.
Did you
seem
start
like that
Instagram
much.
later then? You must
Yeah,
have.
Instagram is like last couple of years.
Oh, okay. That explains.
Yeah.
I mean, you still have a shitload of followers, but
I
it's
guess.
not compared to
I
Twitter.
try not to pay attention. I have like things divided up where there's people who like me for my activism stuff, people who follow me for music,
Hmm.
people who follow me just to tell me I'm a fag and I'm ugly and they hope I die. Like thousands and thousands of people.
Gorgeous.
And so
Still?
always. Oh my god, always. Yeah,
That's
no,
going to be a
just-
thing for a while,
just
unfortunately.
to torture me only, which is fine. And actually, like I had a
Mm.
publicist a while back tell me that I needed to stop feeling hurt by that, that I needed to start actually measuring my success and my impact in the world off of the negative comments and
Yeah.
off of
You're doing something right.
Yeah,
You're
like
pissing
they don't
people off.
boo nobody's,
That's
bro.
right. That's right.
and like of course
That's really good
they-
insight, actually.
The more
was
good you're doing,
really
the more negative
helpful.
shit that is going to happen.
Yeah, and like if
Yeah.
you can actually have that fill your cup, like, oh my god, I had 4 people call me a fag on YouTube today.
Yeah.
That's 2 more than yesterday. I'm growing. My
Yeah.
impact is growing.
I was going to say, if I have 0 negative comments on a mix I do, I'm concerned.
That's
Right. That means you're not relevant. That people
Yeah,
aren't
it
hearing
means people aren't listening to it.
Yeah, I have a lot. I've been like kind of like people like to say nice things about my records in the press, and then people don't like to buy them or come to my shows. Like, or in times where people want to buy it and come to my shows, the press is like, "This is garbage," and
Yeah.
right, like, you
And then it
can't-
becomes successful, oddly enough.
Yeah, like you
Sure.
can't really pay attention to that shit, or else it becomes the only thing you think about. And I spent years thinking about it, and I just don't know.
Love it.
Rapid fire.
All right. Rapid fire.
I've got a beer, I can handle it.
Okay, here we go.
It's all him, though, right?
So, yeah, these are all for Logan.
Okay, yeah, I was
Thank
going to
you
say,
for
I'm not on the
drinking
spot. Okay, I
and
feel
helping
better.
me through my.
Oh, is that
thing.
why you were so stressed?
I guess.
These are all for Logan.
It's a
Rapid
new
fire
segment. I don't
questions
know
for
what's
Logan.
going on.
I'm
So
slumped.
some of them are something or this. Okay,
I
just
don't
to set this
understand
up.
the rules, but I
Like
think I'll
this
catch on.
or that, right?
Okay,
And some of them I'm just asking you a question.
sure.
And these are speedy.
As in rapid fire.
Rapid.
One or
fire.
two
I
word
picked that
answers
up,
kind of
yeah.
thing?
Sure. All right. First one: Spielberg or Tarantino.
Tarantino.
Good man.
I agree with him.
Number 2: Sports or nerd culture?
Sports.
Really?
Yeah.
I am so surprised you said that.
I don't like nerd culture. Nerd
What do you
culture-
consider nerd
So
nerd
if you're
culture?
talking like 4chan and shit like that, I don't fucking like that.
No, I don't mean that. Like,
Star Wars?
sure.
Okay.
Like
then,
pop culture, nerd culture.
Then I prefer that.
That's
But
what I
when
thought
you
you'd
get
say.
into like actual like nerd culture, 4chan, weird internet meme land, like I think that's part of the alt-right problem we have.
Agreed.
No Pepe the Frog.
no,
but
Pepe the Frog.
yes,
That's not what I mean.
Star
Gotcha.
Wars.
Okay.
You think
Copy
that's-
that.
Oh,
Yeah.
never mind.
3. Gun to your head, favorite movie. 5, 4, 3,
Annie.
2. Interesting. I grew up with that shit too. All my
And I
friends
was
made fun of
thinking
me.
Annie or Pretty Woman or Mermaids.
I was a huge musical guy.
Don't laugh
Mermaids?
at me. Yeah.
I love it. Oh, he's
That-
laughing.
I know.
I'm not laughing.
saying
Oh,
like
okay.
peripherally, producer, don't laugh at me.
Because you're looking at me.
Like Mermaids when she licks his jacket. Actually, was
I don't
that
remember that
Welcome
one.
Home, Roxy Carmichael? There's some Winona Ryder movie where she hugs this. No, it's Mermaids.
Is that Cher?
She she
Yeah, okay.
falls. Winona Ryder falls into his arms and like is holding him, and she licks his coat. It's so gross and weird. And that's me. I
I
lick
barely
your coat
remember.
when you're
That.
not
I need to go
looking.
watch that again.
It's good.
Loved Annie. Love it. Okay, moving on because this was rapid fire questions.
Not really. I'm making it long-winded.
That's okay. I am too. 4. Favorite decade. 5. 4,
80s.
Good man. 5. Old soul. Are you an old soul or a new soul?
I hate people who would call themselves an old soul, but I do think that I have that going on.
Okay. I think I'm a new soul.
Great.
I like this is my first time here.
You seem
I'm
that
just
way.
like what's going on?
I'm just kidding.
Yeah,
You
no,
don't
it's
seem that way.
fair. I do seem that.
I
way.
mean, like anybody who identifies as
manic.
having an old soul, like I automatically are
little
like, you're an
irritating.
actual douchebag.
you're just
How about
an
you're
asshole.
an old douche?
How about you're just an old douche?
Yeah.
Number 6. L.A. or NYC?
L.A.
Copy that. Mountain or desert?
Fucking mountain, unless it's
Ooh,
hot.
Ooh,
I don't want to be
desert guy.
hot.
Favorite.
Why are you pulling up these bad pictures of me? Sorry, please don't.
Andrew-
Please don't say it out loud.
Is that the Elephant Man or is that Mermaid?
It's Mask.
Oh,
He's
it's
just
Mask,
Googling
that's
Cher
what it
movies.
is.
But
Oh,
that
dude.
guy's
Have you ever seen that,
remarkably
Andrew?
similar looking to me.
He's such an asshole.
Listen, let's move on. I fucking love. Oh my god, look at Cher in the bottom right.
Oh, that movie's so
She looks
sad too.
fantastic
That's actually a
there.
really bummer of a movie.
Next to that.
Okay, anyway, moving on. Okay,
that
so
one.
you said mountain.
Cher looks so good. Look at her there.
That's like a creepy Mac.
Oh. Okay, move on.
Okay, move on. Andrew, god damn it, Andrew. Favorite podcast.
Jay Morse. No, I almost said Jay Morse Sports. More stories.
Okay, love it. Number 9.
If we take nepotism out of that, like because I love him, and so of course I say his, but also I still would answer it that way.
objectively.
Yeah, I actually still
Okay,
love it.
cool. So there's only 10, by the way, and we're on number 9. And I kind of hate this question
Why
But-
would you ever ask it then?
because I think it has some validity in it.
Alright.
Even though anyway, I'll talk about.
Well, you sure
The-
do know how to sell me on a question.
I know the Beatles or the Rolling Stones.
I never listened to either.
Okay.
I'll go with the Beatles because I like their hair more.
What about?
Twyla
Don't
Paris versus
deviate.
Amy Grant, Out of the Grave versus Charlie Peacock.
Okay. Well then, yeah, like.
I mean, I don't know. Like, I was never allowed to listen to classic rock, so I literally only have
Pop?
heard that when Christian, and then grunge and pop as I was an adult or a teenager.
Like Nirvana.
Yeah, Nirvana.
So Nirvana or Amy Grant.
Amy Grant.
Ricky Martin or Craig David?
Ricky
Ooh,
Martin.
good one. Okay.
But I don't really want to talk to him.
Last one of rapid fire questions with Logan Lynn. Bowie or Bob Dylan?
Bowie.
That's
was
it.
quick.
That was rapid fire questions
That was
with
good.
Logan
That's
Lynn.
a good segment.
Thank you. Thank you.
Should always do it rapid fire questions with Logan Lynn, no matter who you have on.
Just call
Our
them
guest
Logan.
is Stephen Hawks and his rapid fire questions with Logan
Totally.
Lynn.
I'm sure everyone else will love that.
I love it. All right, we are about done here. We should wrap this motherfucker up.
Watch
this was a
the
good one.
language.
Good.
Thanks for coming in, man.
Yeah, thanks
was
for
a lot of
having
fun.
me. I love it when it's a good one.
Yeah.
We really covered a lot of topics.
I think we did too. And I really want people out there that are struggling and have mental health issues of any kind. It doesn't matter how big or small. Know that you're not alone and there's places to go.
Yeah, like
Right.
keeporegonwell.com.
Like
I was
Keep
just gonna
Oregon Well.com.
say.
And also,
Yep.
you can find me at loganlynnmusic.com.
Sure can.
Which then you can find Keep Oregon Well from there. So just like
Love it.
reach out, man.
Reach out. Where can they find you, Neil?
NEILIOENGLE.
Where can they
That's
find you,
Instagram.
Drew?
Don't mind if I drew. Instagram.
One of the best Instagram account
That
names
is a
of all
good
time. Isn't that good?
one.
You can find me at James Ian Macmillan or at Stateside MGMT. We love you, and we love you, Logan. Thanks for coming on, man.
Thank you.
We love you guys. Bye 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 bye.
Fading out with Tiffany, looks like.
Tiffany.
Are you gonna leave by yourself? Or are you gonna take some of this home with you? Are you gonna call me when you get to where you're going? Are we saying goodbye right here? Because I am. Because I am. Oh, I am like a dog now. But lower than that somehow. Are you gonna leave by yourself? Or have you found another man to come for you? Are you gonna miss me when you get to where you're going? And are we falling apart right here? Because I am. Because I am. Oh, I am like a dog now. Because I am. Because I am. Oh, I am like a dog now. But lower than that somehow. Are you gonna scream and shout? Or are you gonna let me live in solitude? Are you gonna burn the shit down? And should I plan to die right here? Because I am. Because I am. Oh, I am like a dog now. Because I am. Because I am. Oh, I am like a dog now. Because I am. Oh, I am. Oh, I am like a dog now. Lower than that somehow. Ooh, like a dog now. 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 Whoa. Like a dog now. Like a dog now. Whoa. Like a dog Thanks again for being here, you guys.
Give